Ask any hockey player and they'll tell you, the more I play, the better I play. Well, Derek Pouliot and Paul Martin will certainly get an opportunity to play a lot more than usual tonight as the Penguins go with 5 defensemen in the absence of Chris Letang against the San Jose Sharks. And Marc-Andre Fleury is facing a team that recently scored 6 goals against the Detroit Red Wings. Fleury has only 1 win in his last 5 starts. Would love to get another 2 points in the bank for the Penguins here tonight against San Jose.
Penguins Hockey on Root Sports is brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. You're better with Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, rated #1 for plan satisfaction. By Western PA Toyota Dealers. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Time to get on your feet and make it loud. Please welcome to the ice your Pittsburgh Penguins.
It's the 28th and final game against a Western Conference club here tonight in the San Jose Sharks. The Penguins have done really well against the West this year, and that's one of the reasons why they've been able to put up some good numbers in the East, Bob, in the Eastern Conference standings, which we'll take a look at right now with some games going on this afternoon.
Well, it's getting tight here right now, folks. The Washington Capitals winning. They're only a point behind the Penguins. The Islanders, they're off 5-4 late in their game against Detroit. Ottawa, they're down, and Florida is leading that one 3-1. So all those teams trying to get into the wild card. The Penguins trying to get home ice if they can finish ahead of the New York Islanders. They are right now based on regulation and overtime win, Staggy. Boy, everybody's scoreboard watching.
I think yesterday was a character win for the Penguins, wouldn't you say? How they were able to reach down in that third period and come from behind to win. And Sidney Crosby has been leading the way in more ways than one.
He really has, Staggy. I think he's the guy that's really leads by example most of the time. He's winning face-offs at a great rate, taking over 20 of those a game. Winnick scored again in that game, but that pass off the board to Downey was absolutely incredible. And Sidney Crosby holds a 1-point lead in the NHL scoring race currently. Downey is a guy the Penguins brought in because they wanted him to protect. They wanted him to score as well. Did he do that yesterday? Yes, indeed he did. Took advantage of Como being knocked out of the hockey game. Downey fought Doan after Doan hit Letang. Letang was concussed in that situation. He won't play here tonight, but he also scored a big goal-ahead goal, 2-1 in that game.
Well, as a Penguin fan, you're probably really happy that there's a salary cap in the National Hockey League, right? Because it gives the Penguins, teams like the Penguins, a chance to be successful. But the other edge of that sword is kind of hitting the Penguins right now, Bob.
Well, it is, and that is the fact that they have to play with 5 defense in this game because they just can't bring anybody up right now. So Letang, a guy that logs 30 to 35 minutes if you're going to play 5D, he's out. So Martin, he'll be taxed for sure. Pouliot played over 23 minutes last time they played against San Jose. Expect his minutes to go way up. And you look at a guy like David Perron, who did not play yesterday because of illness. They're going to play with 13 forwards, 5 defense. Perron says, hey, I'm good to go. I would not expect his minutes to be up to regular speed, Stag, in this one.
The Sharks have a defenseman who actually has 1 more point than Chris Letang. We nicknamed him the Woolly Mammoth. when we were in San Jose.
Well, he's from the Wild Wild West, and this is the last game the Penguins play against the West. Look at this guy, toothless. Yes, he's got the beard. 55 points, forward. Turned defenseman Brent Burns and Alex Stalock from St. Paul, Minnesota. He only saw 18 shots yesterday, stopped 4 of 5 in the shootout. This guy can play. The Sharks are looking to finish a 7-game road trip here. On the plus side, they're 3-3, as you mentioned, and they'll get Stalock tonight.
And they're going with him because Antti Niemi is not feeling well. Let's go to PA announcer Ryan Mill.
Direct your attention to the flag above the scoreboard. At this time, please welcome back the Penguins' own Mr. Jeff Jimerson, as together with one voice, he leads us in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and stars through the perilous fight.
Let's take a look at our Rivers Casino tips to win.
Help the defense is only 5. You got 13 forwards. You got a center's got to help down low for sure in the game. Special teams, 2 power play goals yesterday. Pavelski's got 19 himself for the Sharks. But the Penguins just wanted to be patient. They were yesterday. They stuck to their game. They're going to have to do the same thing against a strong San Jose Shark club. And there's our Kia starting goaltender.
Well, you know, Marc-Andre Fleury's just winning has been his middle name, right? And just lately he's having a tough time finding the wins, and he'd love to get one here tonight. And Alex Stalock has only played against the Penguins in relief a few minutes. I'm not even sure what the total is there, but there's no decisions against Pittsburgh. And Mike Johnston had to be happy with the way his team responded yesterday. And Todd McClellan, he's also without a key guy. Mark-Edward Vlasic was injured yesterday in their shootout win over the Flyers, and he is a premier defenseman as well. So I would say the top 2 defensemen of each club are missing in action here tonight as the Penguins meet the Sharks. And here's Brandon Sutter coming to center. And he dumps the puck in. Brent Burns banks the puck away, but didn't get it out. Downey held it in for Sutter. Sutter looks back now, and Lovejoy. And Ben Lovejoy fires, and that one just went right past the glove of Stalock, but wide of the goal, and Tommy Wingels picks it up for San Jose. Sharks just dump it to the Penguin zone, and it's picked up now by Ben Lovejoy. Drops it back to Paul Martin. Martin ahead now on left wing where it's going to be steered in, but he missed that puck there on the left side, so it's an icing call against the Penguins. They'll bring it back. That's what the Penguins forward lines look like with 13 forwards and 5 defense. You see 4 on the 4th line. Winnick up with Crosby. Como back in the game after being ejected with a 5-minute boarding in a game misconduct yesterday afternoon. But you got Crosby and Malkin up top. Crosby needs 1 goal for 300. Thomas Hertl in the game right now for the Sharks, and Logan Couture. Hertl's in front of the net. And the puck comes squirting to the near wall where it's jammed off the boards by Hornquist. And ahead, Crosby got it to Daniel Winnick, who dumps it to the right wing corner. Out of the net, Stalock. Around for Justin Braun, and quick exit from the defensive zone by the Sharks there, but they turn it over in the neutral zone and then offside on the Penguins. Take a look at our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update. And there's Chris Letang, who was hit yesterday by the captain, Shane Doan. Kind of shoved into the boards. You know how much I love shoving, Staggy, and that's what happens. And he landed on his tailbone. He hit his head into the boards.
And it was a concussion. He stayed the night in the hospital, but he's been released, Staggy, and we'll see how long he's out.
Let's hope it's not too long. And boy, that's scary when it happened. Now the Penguins playing without Chris Letang and down to 5 defensemen. They'll try to make do against the Shark Club that they registered 40 shots against back on March 9th. You could argue that the Penguins played their best game of the season in San Jose and then lost in a shootout. They just couldn't beat Antti Niemi that game. And now Niemi not feeling well, and so they'll see what they can do against Alex Stalock, who was in goal yesterday. Stopped 16 of 18 shots in the win over the Flyers, a shootout win. Brent Burns scoring the deciding goal in the shootout. Lovejoy moves it to left winger Chris Kunitz, who turns away from the check and drops it off. Pouliot came storming in there, but he was unable to maintain possession. Lovejoy watching the back door, goes back and banks it off the boards ahead to Kunitz, down for Como, who dumps it in. Stalock sets it up there for Brent Burns. Sharks can skate, and the tempo of this game will be really fun to watch. There's a shot by Marleau, speaking of guys that can skate, and that big rebound, no damage done there. Marleau in the corner now, working along with Tomas Hertl out to the point, and Burns' wrist shot floats wide of the goal.
Boy, that was redirected by Marleau on the way in.
Now Hannon fans on the shot and then gets it back and feeds it down the wall. And a pass for Hannon picked off by Blake Como, who finds Kunitz at the end of his shift. He shoots it, and a glove save made by Stalock, and he will stop play as the Penguins will send fresh troops onto the ice for the faceoff.
It looked like for a second that Stalock wanted to keep that play moving, and you talked about the fast pace that the San Jose Sharks can play, and they want to do that with the Penguins only having the 5 defensemen. There's Stalock, and he wanted to play that puck up quick if he could, and good job by Kunitz to get right into his face.
Stalock, a 4th-round pick in 2005, played at the University of Minnesota Duluth. And face-off coming up here between Joe Pavelski, who's got 38 goals, 19 of them on the power play, against Sidney Crosby. Shot by Cole, goal post. It was a hard slap shot by Ian Cole, and it hit the iron to the left of Stalock. Now Paul Martin for Winnick. Winnick trying to keep it alive. Good hockey here for the Penguins lately, and enjoying playing on that left wing with Sidney Crosby. Patrick Hornquist on the right. He's got the puck right now. Poked away from him, though, by Brendan Dillon. And now Dillon lugs the puck to center ice and fires it into the Penguin zone. Paul Martin takes it. Ian Cole. His legs moving, gets to center, able to work it inside the zone. Now LaPierre and Bennett team up to try to get possession in the offensive zone. Forechecking effort here by Bo Bennett. But the Sharks' Matt Nieto, number 83, dumps it into the Penguin zone. He played with Bo Bennett on the line in Pee Wee with Emerson Edom of the Anaheim Ducks. They played together at the age of 12, and they scored in their first shift 12 seconds into a hockey game. And that's what both of those players were talking about today. Nieto and Bennett, who has the puck now and moves it around for Rob Scuderi. But how about that? 3 kids at the age of 12 in California, all playing in the National Hockey League. Pretty amazing story.
Very amazing.
And Nieto, when asked to describe Bo Bennett, he said he has silky hands. Geddy Malkin goes for the puck down deep in his own zone. The Penguins working their own zone nicely, not letting the Sharks get any offensive zone time. And now Malkin down the wing. Over to Kunitz, the shot blocked. Got through, though. And save made by Stalock, and now the Sharks able to clear it back to center.
It's a classic 3-on-2 center drive, get the puck wide. And Hannon made the block as that puck dribbled to Stalock's feet.
Back to get it goes Cole. Fleury shuffles it away from him to Derek Pouliot. And now Crosby, a lead pass out of the reach of Hornquist. But Hornquist gets it, and Winnick goes to the net. Hornquist shot, blocked away by Stalock. Puck up for grabs, Crosby trying to find it. He took it away from Marleau, and now the attempt by Pouliot is blocked, and the Sharks back to center. And Dillon dumps it wide of the net, and the first man on it, Hertl, and a save made on Tomas Hertl by Fleury, who was on his angle there, and he took advantage of that bounce off the end board.
Interesting, a lot of long shots by the Sharks. You saw Marleau do it, got a big fat rebound. There, another long shot, whether it's off the back wall. The Sharks, if they're being stood up at that blue line, they're going to shoot the puck and then look to replay off that rebound. And talking about rebounds and tips, how about the face-off win by Crosby? There's a shot, a redirect by Hornquist in the high slot. Right there. Hornquist, who was standing in front of Winnick, so really good stuff for the Penguins. Off the goalpost to the glove hand of Stalock.
I've been impressed with Ian Cole. How about you, Bob? He's done a lot of good things.
Yeah, a lot of good things. And he's got a lot of confidence. He plays with that kind of confidence. He's physical. He makes a good pass. And he can really rocket that puck, as you saw right there. You've seen from day one.
This is Nick Spaulding with the puck, and he shoots it, and a stick save made, and Stalock directed it up into the netting. So another face-off coming up. Take a look at our barrel leaders. The Art Ross Trophy is up for grabs. Sidney Crosby would like to grab it again. If he can win it, he'll be the first guy in 13 years to repeat as the NHL scoring champion, and trying to become the 9th player to win 3+ Art Ross trophies. You see all the ones who have. Leading the National Hockey League at the moment with 78 points in 70 games.
John Tavares had 3 assists this afternoon in an Islanders 5-4 victory. That's a final now over the Wings. So they're now 2 points ahead of the Penguins, and Tavares 1 point behind Sidney Crosby for that Art Ross Trophy.
Well, you'd love to see Sid get it. And he was talking today about, he said, I think scoring is important. When he was asked today, you know, what if there's no 100-point scorer this year? Do you think that matters? And he said, yes, I think scoring is important, as we have a discussion here down.
Well, there was a shot that went off the goalpost. I don't know if they're looking at that or not. I can't imagine what else the referee would be talking to the Situation Room about here.
By the way, Kevin Pollock, one of the 2 referees today, honored before the game for his 1,000th game of service in the NHL. Pollock is number 33. He's paired up with Wes McCauley today, and his family on hand for the celebration. We understand his son is a big Sidney Crosby fan, so he got a stick from Sid. That's a nice touch. But no favorites will be played tonight by his dad.
No, not at all. Not at all. Other finals today, Florida defeat Ottawa in that hockey game this afternoon. Florida 4, Ottawa 2. And an explanation here from the official, Wes McCauley, to the Penguin bench. And of course, the Penguins finished with 3 officials yesterday after one of the linesmen got hit in the mouth. The linesman actually couldn't blow his whistle, Staggy. And now we have another linesman going down into the Penguins dressing room. So another situation here, 2 days in a row for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're going to be involved with having one of the referees assume the linesman duties here.
Steve Barton leaving. And you know, there's an illness going around, a stomach problem for some players. I know David Perron had it, and you never know. I mean, we had a referee get sick on the ice earlier this year, if you remember. This has been an odd year, man, with the mumps, and it's just been unbelievable. Things we've seen. Now the puck back into the San Jose zone, and taking it is Taylor Fadoon, just called up today from the Worcester farm team of the Sharks. Fortunately for the Sharks, their farm team is in the East, so they were able to get him here pretty easily. No salary cap problems for the Sharks. They were able to bring a defenseman up in the absence of Marc-Edouard Vlasic.
Same linesman, Steggy. So it's Steve Barton who didn't finish yesterday, and he's gone down to the dressing room again. And I overheard Tim Peel yesterday saying to the Penguin bench he couldn't blow the whistle. So maybe the same problem here as he was struck in the mouth yesterday with a Kunitz high stick, and actually just probably can't blow the whistle.
That's what it is, and I had forgotten that he was the one who was hit. So thank you for clarifying that. Now Ian Cole banks it off the boards up into the corner, and the Sharks quickly move it right out. Now they can't get it out. The Penguins held it in. And the slap shot by Perron. He fanned on it. Lapierre trying to get it. He wheels it towards the net. And Stalock able to make the save, and Craig Adams going hard to the goal. Bob, I wanted to ask you, if maybe when we come back, you can kind of reflect on what happened yesterday for the Penguins in the third period. And you think that's something they could build on? We'll do that when we come back.
Well, Steve Barton has left the game as he did yesterday. And Steve Barton was clipped by a errant high stick. Chris Kunitz, 14 of the Penguins. There it is. Boy, so dangerous. Right underneath that visor for Barton. You see him reach for his mouth right away. I believe he lost a couple of teeth. So same thing today. He couldn't continue early in this first period. One of the referees will assume one of the linesman's duties, Staggy, which include blowing the whistle for offsides, that kind of thing, but also, as you mentioned, breaking up fights. A lot of times the linesman in charge of that, referee will have to help out in that situation.
Winnick with a quick shot. He missed the net. Yes, that was the case yesterday when Downey fought Shane Doan. And now Hornquist going to the front of the net. Centering pass. He got it to the goal. Rebound, score! Sidney Crosby or Hornquist getting that? Hornquist somehow got his last stick on that. Man, is he a demon around the net?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. I thought it was Hornquist that got his stick in front of Crosby. They both reached for the rebound, Staggy, and I thought it was Hornquist that got his own rebound on the backhand. Winnick made the play from behind the net. There's the initial shot, and they both reached in, but it was Hornquist that was quicker to the puck, right in front of Crosby, who looked like he was going to have a shot at it. Hornquist down on one knee, follows it up on the backhand. You see that puck knuckle on the Supermo presented by Allegheny Health Network. Stalock, no chance on that rebound opportunity. And the Penguins hungry in front of that net as they were yesterday.
And Hornquist now has 8 goals, 12 points in 20 games against San Jose. 8 goals in 20 games against them. He has some amazing numbers against some of these Western Conference teams he faces. And they are probably really happy that he's no longer playing in the West for Nashville. So Hornquist gets the first goal. That's huge. The Penguins have allowed the first goal in 6 of the last 8 and 9 of their last 14 at home coming in. So they'll be happy to get the first one here tonight against San Jose. And Hornquist, what a difference he makes. And now we get a penalty coming up. Fleury leaves the net. The Sharks draw the whistle. Malkin was down here on the near wall. Didn't see him go down, but he got himself up slowly. And so now the Penguins put the power play on the ice.
San Jose, number 43, 2 minutes hooking.
Hooky call down in the corner. And Hornquist, let's take a look at his work on that goal. In the corner, battle to the front of the net, pass Burns, who's a big, big man. To the corner, back to the front of the net. Get your stick on the ice and available for that pass. You have to have a passion, a hunger to get to the front of that cage. Hornquist has that.
Sidney Crosby sets it up on the power play. Malkin straight away goes to Derek Pouliot. Derek Pouliot really good against the Sharks in that game in San Jose in early March. Centering pass comes through for Pouliot. This is the 15th game in the month of March for the Penguins. Here's Crosby with it. Center, score! Directed in by Chris Kunitz on the doorstep. And Kunitz finally gets on the board, and that'll make him feel good.
Pouliot, he had to stay with a play that went a pass by Crosby through the box, and Derek Pouliot on that first power play. Take a look at his work. There's the pass. The Sharks just miss it. Pouliot with good vision keeps the puck alive and stays on his feet long enough to find Crosby. And Crosby down low to Kunitz. That's a tough angle there for Chris Kunitz. And Chris Kunitz has missed some glorious opportunities over the last 20 hockey games. He's able to score on the power play here. And yeah, talk about a release, Staggy.
His 17th goal of the season. His first power play goal in a really long time. And Chris Kunitz played really hard yesterday. Bob was commenting before the game on how hard he was skating yesterday against Arizona. It's nice to see him finally get some reward for all the hard work he's put in and the opportunities that he's had. He's been able to finish. Now Downey in center ice. A good start for the Penguins, getting a 2-0 lead against San Jose here tonight.
And the power play again. It was on the mark yesterday with 2 power play goals. Scores again here.
And I guess the Penguins are kind of answering my own question, Bob, about can the Penguins build on what happened yesterday? LaPierre moves it out to the point. Martin to Cole, the shot. And it's off the stick of number 20, John Scott, and up into the netting. Don't forget, you can tweet the booth. Use the hashtag Pens Booth. It's brought to you by Point Park University. And Bob, they just seem to have come out here with a lot more confidence in the first period than we've seen here at home.
Well, you know, they knew they had to insulate the defense. They had to play in the offensive zone. They've got there. They've drawn penalties. They got to insulate these 5 defense. You're going to see a 200-foot game. Niemi, who stopped 39, was it, shots out of the Penguins 40 up in San Jose, was absolutely brilliant in that hockey game. He's been injured or ill. So he's a guy that they would look to hold the fort as they did there. Stalock, who got the win yesterday, only saw 18 shots, Staggy, and He's already saw a lot of rubber here early.
Penguins with 7 shots on goal, a couple of goals. Hornquist at 7:08, Kunitz at 8:04, 56 seconds apart. Hornquist from Winnick and Cole, Kunitz from Crosby and Pouliot. And the Penguins power play with 2 goals yesterday gets another one here today. So that's another thing that'll make a lot of people feel good. The Penguins power play starting to click again.
Oh, there's that little shot. Thornton and Perron. Thornton and Perron going at it. There was a big hit right by the penalty box there. And Joe Thornton and David Perron have a history. And didn't look like Perron was going to play this game, but he said, I'm ready to go. And they're still talking as the two go to the respective players' benches. Look at the beard, and this goes back a few years, Staggy, when Joe Thornton stepped into Perron blindsided, did not see that puck at all, and he's wearing the tinted visor now after being concussed in that situation, David Perron.
He missed almost an entire season because of that. It was very similar to the Sidney Crosby issue that he had. It actually occurred before Sid was hit by David Steckel of the Washington Capitals. Working in the corner is Chris Tierney for San Jose. Sharks trying to make it happen now in the offensive zone. Centering pass by Tierney for Wingels, but good tight gap there by Sidney Crosby on Wingels, and his shot was blocked by Sid. And the Penguins work it back to the San Jose line. Taken there by Brendan Dillon, former Dallas Star, ahead to Matt Nieto. And Nieto dumps into the Penguin zone. Lovejoy back to get it. Sends it back around and up the near wall. And Hornquist tried to go to the middle with it, but the Sharks kept it in. Hornquist and Pouliot teaming up to get that puck out and back into the San Jose zone. Now here's Marlowe down the wing. He's got speed and a lot of talent. Now Hannon moves up. He throws it right through the goal mouth to the right point. Spinning with the puck as Burns away from Malkin. Now for Hannon, a shot at Fleury right on his mark. Able to make the save on Scott Hannon and no rebound. And that enables us to take a break. Shots are even at 7.
Hornquist with the first, Kunitz with the power play marker, and the pen's up. He's got a fresh tape job on that stick. He's got an assist with the old tape job on the power play. In place really of Chris Letang getting an opportunity as the Penguins. He's the only defense on that first power play and make that spectacular pass over to Crosby. Crosby knew exactly where he was going before the puck came. Did you see that? Head on a swivel always, and same with Pouliot. He knew where he was going with his pass as he was tripped up. Great vision by both those hockey players, and the San Jose Sharks, they're not going to go away. The last of a 7-game road trip. Penguins are making a change here. Gives me a chance to say, get well to Sophia Spano, Phil Spano's daughter, Staggy, who is ill right now, and she's been watching on the tube.
And Phil, one of the minor officials for the Penguins, works up here in the box. He always comes and gives us little tips on what's going on when goals are being reviewed and such. Now the puck is banked off the boards up into the San Jose zone, but this will be an icing infraction against Pittsburgh, and they'll bring it back. Well, the Sharks are pretty much out of the playoff picture. They're not mathematically eliminated, but psychologically they are beaten, I think. And having said that, though, with Andy Niemia watching today, the Sharks did say after the win yesterday, we're still alive. We're still thinking of getting into the playoffs. But needless to say, it is a long shot for San Jose, and that would be a shock to their system. There's a chance now for the Penguins on the rush. Malkin centers, and it comes off a leg right to the goal, swept away by Stalock. Malkin wanted that puck to come through to him, and it was broken up by Hannon, but on the puck now is Como in the corner. Como and Malkin working hard along with Chris Kunitz, but the Sharks bring it back to center. And it is dumped in now by Melker Karlsson, number 68. Penguins trying to get it out. Joe Thornton held it in right past Karlsson to the far wall. Flying down the wall to get to the puck was Justin Braun, but Adams got over there and took a hit to make a play, and the Penguins able to get the center ice, and it's dumped in now by Lovejoy. Another big hit down there in the corner by Craig Adams. So 2 good physical plays by Adams there. One taking a hit, one throwing one. And that's what Craig Adams is capable of doing. There's a lead pass steered in now by Brandon Sutter.
You see all these pucks, great puck management really by both teams right now. Dumping the pucks deep. I expect this puck to go deep. You see right there, The Sharks want to turn the Penguins 5 defense. They want to tire them that way. And the Penguins with a 2-0 lead on this offside, they want to make sure that they're managing the puck, not trying to get another one and another one and another one. They want to do the same thing, get the puck deep.
We'd like to welcome Co-Lane cable viewers in Omar, West Virginia. Thanks for watching and rooting on the Pens. All of us at Root Sports and the Penguins appreciate your support. Now from the draw, taken by Derek Pouliot, and he sends it up the left wing. Winnick trying to get control of the puck. Down the Ado takes off, and he lost it. Penguins good back pressure there by Hornquist, and then Martin sent it along now for Pouliot. He couldn't get it out. Held in by Matt Irwin to the corner. Tommy Wingels goes in for it. Wingels played at Miami of Ohio, out to the right point. Fadoon with a shot. Fleury the save, and the rebound to Hornquist, and he backhands it off the wall and back to center.
Lauer didn't see anything. Sharks are a good hockey team, and Todd McClellan, a good hockey coach. I definitely believe they're not going to go anywhere. Flower's going to have to be big in this hockey game. In Pittsburgh, keep it solid, stay disciplined, stay patient to your game, and keep playing the same way. Get those pucks deep.
Pouliot tried to do that there. Now LaPierre forcing a turnover, but the Sharks recover. And in center ice, it's dumped in by Perron behind the net. Stalock set it up. LaPierre in on the forecheck against Burns, who wheeled it up the right wing boards, and Tomas Hertl couldn't get it out. Penguins hold it in. Shot by LaPierre, and a rebound comes right to Hannon, and it looks like Stalock may have a little trouble with the rebounds here, at least to start the game anyway.
Yeah, the shots were 7-3, then 9-7, Steggy, as the Sharks had recorded 6 straight. With that first one there, Stalock, he's going to have to hold the fort if his team has any chance, you know that.
Now Chris Kunitz with it. Dishes it off to Paul Martin to try to go back to Kunitz. Paul Martin up the wall now for Chris Kunitz. Now right back to Martin and over to Ben Lovejoy. Martin has played with Pouliot. Now he's playing with Lovejoy. 5 defensemen. There's a lead pass for Como, and that was just offside if it was at all.
Well, from here it didn't look offside, and you got to remember, you only have the one linesman at the one end, but that was the linesman. Referee calling the other line as Como gets behind the defense right there, and that looks onside from first look. Let's take another look. Where's his skate? That's onside. It wasn't even close. Man, Como was in behind the defense with a great opportunity to make it 3-0. Well, I got to tell you, once again, 3 officials, but remember Briere when the Penguins were up 3-0 in a hockey game? He was 8 feet offside.
In the playoffs.
They had the playoffs right at that line. And that one was missed.
Joe Thornton centers now for Melker Karlsson. Back to Thornton to Karlsson. He really competes. He was very competitive. Got involved in some battles with Letang in San Jose. Now Malkin swooping in. Drops it off. Scuderi the shot. Blocked. And the man who blocked it was a guy I was just saying is really competes. Melker Karlsson. There's an example right there. Todd McClellan just loves him. Here's Malkin now trying to bust through everybody. Taken away and cleared off the boards. McClellan said if I had 18 guys like him, he said I don't need I had 18 guys who score 13 goals and compete like he does. I'll win every night. That's what he said. So I don't need guys to necessarily even score 40. I just don't want anybody that scores just 2. If I can have a bunch of guys like him, we'd win. Melker Karlsson, who's a free agent from Skellefteå, the same team that Oscar Sundqvist is playing for. And by the way, they won their playoff game last night in the second round, so they have a 1-0 lead over Linkoping over there in Sweden, in case you're keeping track of Oscar. Now here's Ben Lovejoy in his own zone. He moves it over to Derek Pouliot. Pouliot sends it up the left wing. And it's wheeled in now by Spalling. Back to get it goes Chris Tierney for San Jose. Sutter into the forecheck. Taylor Fadoon moved it up the wall. And the Sharks have been coming out of their own zone with dispatch. They look organized when they come out of their own end. Now Martin goes back for the puck. Shuffles it in behind the net. Nieto is there. Steps out. Sutter reading the play beautifully. Stepped in front of Tommy Wingels. And now Downey gains the red line, but accidentally shot it up into the San Jose bench. The Penguins lead at 2-0. A rare 2-0 lead on home ice. That hasn't happened a lot lately. We'll take it.
To a very good start here inside Consol Energy Center, and let's talk about a finish. The Sharks are finishing up a 2-week, 7-game road trip that began on March 17th in Winnipeg. 2 weeks. Now, the Penguins' longest trip this year, 8 days. And usually, guys, we have a road trip that lasts about a week. Bob, you played in the West, in San Jose. How do you pack for a 2-week trip?
Well, you get dry cleaning at the hotel, don't you? I mean, somewhere along the way you got to
I've
do
never
your laundry.
done that. I've never got dry cleaning at
Never?
the hotel. Never.
Have
Never.
You ever
gotta
done
make
your laundry in the middle of a road
like
trip?
Kevin Stevens, you just don't bring it over, Coach. You know, you take your chances in March. Oh, a little snow here for Marc-Andre Fleury by Hurdle. And Fleury with a smile, Hurdle said, "Oh, sorry about that snow job I just gave you." As he stopped right in front of the feet of Marc-Andre Fleury. Yeah, I don't do that dry cleaning stuff. Pack enough, Staggy. You know, as a player, it's a little different than what we're doing right now. You know, you might have to dry clean a couple things now, but as a player, you didn't mind if things, you know, lasted a game or two.
A lot of guys bring a suit and they're basically in the suit for just the time it takes to get from the hotel to the rink.
Yeah, and if you ever scored a goal, you keep that suit for the next game. We figured that was the lucky suit.
Like Roman Oksuda, he had only one suit. There's a shot stopped by Fleury. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Tomas Hurdle shooting the puck. I nicknamed him Roman One Suda because he had only one brown suit. Puck is dumped in. Taken down by Ian Cole.
That's a high stick pass. Now,
Yeah.
Fleury can high stick it, but not to his own player. As he stopped that, it was up on the glass area. So a good call by the official there. Bang on. Take a look. Marc-Andre Fleury's going to reach out with his stick above the crossbar, above his shoulders, excuse me. And there it is to Cole. So it's a high sticking pass.
It's kind of a tough break for a goalie to make a play like that. That was a pretty nifty play made there, Fleury, on the glass. So off the draw, the Penguins make sure they win it. LaPierre winning the faceoff. And this is Derek Pouliot moving it up the right wing off the stick of Adams up into the offensive zone. LaPierre gets in again. He's been playing with a lot of verve in his game over the last several games. Here's Scuderi shooting. Oh, he just missed. Stalock didn't see that one at all through traffic. Ben Smith sent it to the right wing where defenseman Justin Braun drives it hard around to the near side. 6'8" John Scott back to Braun on the other side, and his shot over the blocker of Fleury out to the blue line, held in by Dillon, right on, and a save made by Fleury again through traffic. And yes, the Sharks are throwing pucks from long distance towards that net. It was a good play by Dillon to get rid of it quickly and get it on the goal.
And Staggy, I'm not so sure. Pierre Rasico is not calling both lines right now. As I watch him, he's moving through the neutral zone, but he's not going all the way to the blue line, just short of both blue lines. And I'm going to try to get a hold of Steve Wackham here in between periods and see if I can find out exactly the responsibilities of the one linesman, two referee situation we have now. And we'll see if Steve Wackham is available to talk to. Get some good knowledge.
5 defensemen for the Penguins, 3 officials for the league. Crazy. A wild couple of games for the Penguins, and actually Carolina, they were short of forward, now they're short of D-man.
Steve Wackham, of course, is in charge of all the officials here in the National Hockey League. Pittsburgh native.
Joe Thornton, Jumbo Joe as they call him, threw it in front, and then Fleury got a stick out there to get a piece of that coming through. Brent Burns is just a beast out there, moving up right now to the backhand, to the forehand, a shot at a save made by Fleury on Brent Burns. He's got it again. Burns fires, and that one stopped in front and cleared by Malkin. Burns got it again, and his shot blocked again.
He hit his own player, Steve.
It's taken by Como, drops it off to Malkin, and he's going to send it backwards here. Taken by defenseman Ian Cole. Now it's Derek Pouliot getting his feet moving. He dishes it off the wall. Downey couldn't play it there. Pouliot's got to get back here as Chris Tierney softly dumps it towards the Penguin zone. Back into the corner it goes for Cole. Backhands it up the near wall. Sutter. He got it ahead now to Pouliot. Perfect pass over to Cole. He got himself available, jumping back into the play. Cole centers now for Spalling, and his shot wristed wide of the goal. To the near wall. Over to get it was Pouliot. Wingle's got in his face to force it back. But Cole, watching the back door, has it. And now taken by Steve Downey. Sutter's open. Downey down the wing. And he was ridden right off the puck as he tried to maybe turn the corner there. And it's a good defensive play by Justin Braun, and now lifts the puck up into the Penguin zone. Back to get it Scuderi. Ahead now to Brandon Sutter. And Sutter dumps it into the San Jose zone. Around for Spalling, who feeds it back around to the right wing corner where Brendan Dillon takes it. Big 6'4" defenseman. Sends it up the right side. Marlowe immediately checked as he got the puck by Sidney Crosby, but now it is Hurdle dumping into the Penguin zone. Going back for it. Paul Martin spins out of that check from Tomas Hurdle. Martin works hard to maintain possession, get it up to Winnick. He protects the puck as he's wont to do. And he moves it over now to Scuderi, who dumps it off the right wing boards. Hornquist looks for it, but offside on the Penguins.
Yeah,
Coming up during the intermission, brought to you by our neighborhood Ford store with Robin J. Dan Potash. We'll talk with Chris Kunitz. Back on the board. He had been scoreless in 11 games. He got 14 without a goal. Only his second goal in the last 24 games. He will take it gladly, and we will too.
These poor linesmen. Pierre Rasico was hit by that dump in there. And I actually think he's doing both lines right now as the more I watch this game. And boy, he's going to be taxed. You talk about the miles that these guys skate in a game, these officials. You got to be in incredible shape to do what they do.
Pierre Rasico's been around a long time too. He's got a lot of experience. Now down the wing comes Logan Couture. He shoots it, kicked out by Fleury, and there's Ian Cole again. He's been really mobile tonight, or mobile as they say in hockey, and the Penguins have a little battle over there in front of the bench. Crosby's involved
With the mountain man, Burns.
and there's the end of the period, and they're still in a tussle over there in front of the Penguins bench.
A lot of hugging in front of the Penguins bench as Burns and Crosby get into it. There's the hit. You see Burns knocked down Winnick, and Crosby got into the face of Burns. You got to like that, don't you? And the players are going to respect that. Their captain sticking up for the player there in a physical kind of way in a 2-0 Penguin lead.
Let's go to Robin J. Good period for the Penguins.
Staggy up, thanks very much. I thought the same thing. Good period for the Penguins coming off the win yesterday. They had so many shots. They finally broke through in the third period. We know what this team looks like with all this talent when they get going, and last two periods they've gotten it going. Last period yesterday and the first period today.
Yeah, when you look at it again, Hornquist battling in front. A great play by Winnick from behind the net. He was set up by Crosby, so they're working well together, but the same recipe. Hornquist going to the front of the net, creating havoc, and then great play on the power play. That was just great vision, a great seed pass, if you will, and Kunitz spared it. So to get one on the power play, good hard work, you called it just a good job all the way around.
Third power play goal for the Penguins over the last two games. It was scored by Chris Kunitz, and Dan Potash will catch up with him. Jay's going to tell us straight highlights from around the league and more coming up next in the first intermission report.
Crosby contributing mightily to the cause in the first period.
Yeah, once again, you won a big face-off for a goal yesterday. Again, in this hockey game, winning those face-offs, leading to chances for Crosby, and leading by example, as the captain has done here. There's a shot by Cole that was redirected by Hornquist. Again, another face-off victory for Crosby on the power play, leading to this goal by Chris Kunitz, his ninth power play goal. And at the end of the period, after Winnick got hit, Crosby got into the face of Burns, and the Penguins hold that 2-0 advantage.
And there he is, the NHL's leading scorer, Sidney Crosby, who's been saying a lot of good things in the locker room about the team after games, and spoke well about the situation after the Carolina game. Really showing some great leadership on and off the ice for the Penguins, and seems to be very, very dialed in right now. Tonight's face-offs are presented by the new face of Northwood Realty Services.
And Rule 32.6 states that if a linesman is unable to act through sickness, accident, something, that the referees have the power to appoint another in his stead if they deem it necessary, or if required to do so by the manager or coach of either of the competing teams. If no replacement linesman is available, the two referees will assist the remaining linesman with his duties while retaining their ability to assess penalties when deemed appropriate. Rule 32.6 is still just the one linesman and the two referees here right now.
Pierre Rasico has worked over 1,300 games, Bob, in the NHL as a linesman. Very experienced, and we said that Kevin Pollock is working his 1,000th game.
And look, the referee's dropping the puck right now, Staggy, so assisting in the linesman duties. You see the one official right there, Wes McCauley, dropping the puck for the faceoff.
Here's Sutter down the wing against Pavelski. Sutter cut to the inside, gets to the puck again. And Sutter goes to work against Joe Pavelski down there in the corner. Now Spaulding and Sutter working hard to get possession of the puck in the San Jose zone, but it's cleared by Burns the length of the ice, and that'll be icing against San Jose. Day Auto brings you a great day for hockey.
And yes, it was for Evgeny Malkin back in 2012, 100 points for Malkin. Became the 4th Penguin to do that.
Well, there probably won't be a 100-point scorer this year in the league. There definitely won't be. I think I can say that pretty confidently. There will be a 50-goal scorer, though. Alexander Ovechkin has now got 49, and you got to figure he's going to get that 50th, Bob. There's another face-off win for the Penguins, and another one coming up here.
Yeah. Once again, Crosby. Great timing, good hand-eye coordination. Hornqvist, that right-hand shot on the left wall there so that he can get it on the forehand. Look at Sidney Crosby again, another big face-off win.
He won 4 and lost 5 in the first period. Now here's Winnick for Sid, steps out, and the stick of Stalock got there, and then Crosby got the puck back, and Stalock scrambled over and made a save on Sid there because Sidney Crosby was really in a good position. Stalock made a good save to recover and get over there to greet him as he got the puck.
I got to tell you, Hornqvist is a menace. He is just taking bodies with him, and he doesn't really reckless abandon, Staggy. That's what he's playing with.
Dillon with a wrister. That one deflected away from the net up into the netting behind the goal.
Well, Crosby tried one move down low. He tried to bring it, curl it around from backhand to forehand. And he was able to kind of do that. No poke check by the netminder. And then look at Hornqvist. He's got 2 bodies. Can you see Hornqvist there, folks? Take a look at this. I tell you, that is really good stuff by Hornqvist. It doesn't matter. He's going to do anything he can. He was out with that middle body injury. He couldn't wait to get back.
Fadoon with a shot and a save made by Fleury. Sharks want to get that next goal and get themselves into this game. The Penguins just trying to keep playing the way they've been playing. They had a really good first period. Now it's dumped in, and Stalock has to wait for it to come in the trapezoid. Works into the corner for Matt Irwin. He's bumped by Chris Kunitz. Kunitz, Malkin, and Como racing for the Penguins. Lead pass by Tierney is another icing infraction against San Jose. Take a look at. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, just take a look at the current leaders here as Crosby's picked up a point in this game. Tavares had 3 this afternoon in his outing, a 5-4 victory. So the Penguins trying to keep pace. Crosby's keeping pace. And the Penguins trying to keep pace with the New York Islanders, Staggy.
Sid was talking today about how teams are now swarming when they play defense. He said you just see guys swarming all over the ice. There's just no room out there anymore. And he said getting to the net is harder than ever. He's trying to get by 3 layers. Unless you're Patrick Hornqvist. He figures out how to get there. He just runs over everybody.
Yeah, they go right through you. I think the next goal is the big goal in this hockey game. The Penguins can get that 3rd one on the board.
Here's
the
Perron.
Sharks are coming, aren't they?
Well, they are. They're not going anywhere, that's for sure. Now we get an offside on the Penguins. Take a look at what's going on in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it did change since we came on the air, Staggy. There's the Islanders moving ahead of the Penguins.
Yep, they got a big win today. The Red Wings are giving up a ton of goals. They gave up 5 to Arizona, 6 to San Jose, and 5 to the Islanders again today. They're just having a tough time defensively. The Capitals with a big win in New York.
Yes, and Boston won in overtime, and Ottawa lost to Florida. So you're looking at those last spots.
Penguins' magic number coming in with respect to Ottawa is 10. Combination of 10 points collected or relinquished. And the Penguins would eliminate them from catching the Penguins in the playoffs for a playoff spot. Frankly, they're the team I was concerned most with. Not so much the Florida Panthers, but the Florida Panthers do come up with a big win, so maybe they're back in the thick of things. We'll just have to wait and see what happens on the last day of the season. Here's Pavelski with it. It certainly feels as though the Penguins are going to play the Islanders in the first round. Here's Pavelski behind the net. Scuderi went down. Almost 3 minutes into the second period, and the Penguins leading 2-0. Out of the net comes Stalock. Sets it up for Brent Burns.
Burns wanted that puck, but he didn't realize that Downey was right on his back shoulder. And wise move by Stalock not to try to move that puck up. Stalock, not a great puck mover. That should have been a penalty. Could have easily been a penalty on the Sharks there for a hooking.
Centering pass. Sutter trying to dish it off to Spalling. Now reaching for it is Downey. Sutter goes to work against Scott Hannon. And the 36-year-old defenseman of the Sharks under siege right now behind the net. Hannon on his backhand, able to find Joe Thornton, who was drafted first overall in Pittsburgh in '97. It's Melker Karlsson now, dropping it off. And turning with it is Thornton. Back for Dillon in the slot for Pavelski. His shot was blocked. And Sutter races over and backhands it back up into the San Jose zone. Justin Braun goes back to get it. No icing. Both teams shuffle the deck. The long lead pass taken by Hertl, and the Penguins able to clear. And out comes Sidney Crosby with speed to the San Jose zone. Skating beautifully. Dropped it off for Hornquist, who couldn't take the pass. And now it's a counterattack for the Sharks. And a shot down low, stopped by Fleury, and going right for his own rebound was Logan Couture. After he shot the puck, he drove right to the net, and the Penguins take exception to that with Fleury freezing the puck.
Yeah, this is tough. You want to have good dump-ins for Pittsburgh. Good changes. It's tough in the second period. Only 5 defensemen, and they're going to have to change from the other side of that red line. Let's take a look at the scrum. As Fleury cradles that puck. And he gets snow again, Staggy. That's the second or third time here today in this hockey. Look at all the snow on Fleury. They're getting in there. Looks like they're just intentionally stopping so that that snow gets up into the face of Marc-Andre Fleury. And boy, definitely, and once again, as I mentioned, the linesman situation, it does appear Pierre Racicot is doing both lines, as I saw him wave off calls in a matter of 3 seconds on first the Penguins blue line, then the Sharks blue line. He's doing a great job.
Standing on the shot is Fadoon. He shanked it right to Daniel Winnick. Now to left wing to Crosby. Crosby tried to center. Skating to the puck, though, was Ian Cole, and he drives it around to the right wing side. Marlowe over to get it. He couldn't get it out. Scuderi held it on the backhand of the corner. Crosby waiting there, banked it off the side of the cage. Winnick comes crashing in there, but the Sharks able to get by, and it's out to the left wing now, where Marlowe is stood up nicely by Scuderi, and the puck pops out of play near the Penguin bench.
Well, they're getting to the crease here. We just showed you the last highlight, and Marlowe and Hertl right in front off the next face-off. Take a look at Marc-Andre Fleury. They're trying to get in there and disrupting his crease play, I guess you could say. There's not a lot of room. Marlowe just made room, kind of bowled over the netminder. Thomas Greiss, he had a solid performance yesterday afternoon in a Penguin win.
And originally a Shark. Now behind the net, taken by Como. Blake Como had a short day yesterday after hitting a player from behind. Andrew Campbell, defenseman, being banished, but no response from the NHL to that hit. So Blake Como okay to play today. And now the puck handled by the Sharks. And busting in is Tierney. Martin got a stick in there to knock it off his stick, and then back to the corner where Pouliot won the battle for possession. Pouliot steps up and he carries the puck to center. Moving into Chris Kunitz. Kunitz closing in. Finds Malkin the shot. Big save by Stalock with a right pad. That was a great one there on Malkin by Stalock. He had to stretch out to the max there to get that right pad over and stop Evgeny Malkin.
Wow, he came over kind of I don't even know how to describe it, Staggy, like a scarecrow maybe with his legs spread apart. It was a big save.
Now puck in behind the net. Hannon is there again. Bennett trying to get to it. Bennett hustles over. Ian Lapierre and David Perron, the threesome for the Penguins. So Perron playing on a fourth line today for the Penguins after being sick yesterday. Interesting fourth line with Lapierre, and pretty good skill on either side of Lapierre there. Now the lead pass and knocked down by Justin Braun, who moves it to the left wing. Shot down low, stopped by Fleury. The rebound cleared aside for a moment by Lovejoy, and then up the wall for Bo Bennett. Barclay Goodrow, the man who shot that puck down low, and opportunity there. Now the puck up the near wall, and Justin Braun gets to it. Feeds it down into the corner. Goodrow going to work there. Over to the left side where Brendan Dillon sends it out now to Scott, and his shot is blocked down in front. Now to the right point. Braun shoots and he scores. Justin Braun, it may have been tipped in. There was a man in front, Ben Smith, and he hasn't scored in 11 games, but he may have gotten a stick on that shot by Braun to give the Sharks their first goal of the hockey game.
Boy, it did appear to change direction, did it not? It was a ripped shot, and you can see San Jose, one of those teams that uses everybody in the zone. There's the rebound off Fleury, back to the point. Take a look at 21 in front. There's a shot, there's the redirect. What a tough redirect across your body, using the front of the blade. Boy, and no chance for Marc-Andre Fleury. He's even got a screen in front of him. So he doesn't see the puck. It's deflected. No chance at all. Our Super Bowl presented by Allegheny Health Network showed you that perfectly, that deflection.
Ben Smith acquired at the trade deadline from the Chicago Blackhawks for Andrew Desjardins. And he had, as I said, gone 11 without scoring, and a nifty tip there. That was a good shift for the fourth line of the Sharks. And they're able to get the goal to make it 2-1. So they're right back in this game. And don't forget, that comes after Stalock made a sensational save on Evgeny Malkin.
Yes, yes. Don't forget that one.
This is Hannon now. That's the way the hockey game goes sometimes. You get a big save at one end and a goal at the other. Happens a lot. Now Hannon comes to center around Brandon Sutter. He'll dump the puck to the right wing corner. Scuderi goes back to get it. Around now for Paul Martin. Martin sends it up the wing. And Adams got a piece of it. No icing on the play. Back to play it now is Taylor Fedun.
He's trying to use that stretch pass on the Penguins' changes in the second period. That long change. The Sharks are posting up and using that long stretch pass.
And Fedun delivers it behind the net. Centering pass right to Hertl, and he shot it wide of the goal, and a good scoring chance from the high slot. Now Fleury gloves it down. You mentioned early in the game that the Sharks were shooting long on Fleury, and you saw Braun just get it to the net from way out by the blue line, and Smith tip it in.
Boy, Hertl missed an exceptional opportunity. He was flat-footed when he got the puck, and he had it top corner measured up.
Hornquist with a quick little backhand centering pass, trying to get it through to Sid, but it was turned over, and the Sharks go the other way quickly. And boy, they don't waste any time getting up ice, do they? Tommy Wingels on the left wing wall.
No, they forced the Penguins to come back 5 men strong. So the Penguins are tired right now. They're going to be looking for another change. There's Stalock. They wanted to get the puck up quick. They'd be using that stretch pass and they're unable to use it right now.
Evgeny Malkin out here with Kunitz and Como. Justin Braun looks for an opening at center ice. Dumps it in, but it's picked off the wall there by Cole, who got it ahead. Now Kunitz can't get it out. Cole tries. And we got a hand pass called, and there'll be a face-off at center ice.
Well, you talked about the save at one end. Kunitz to Malkin. Stalock coming across. And then the redirect in front of Fleury. 2-1. Pens.
Outside looking in of the postseason picture at the moment, and that's well, uncharted waters for them. They have made the playoffs for 10 consecutive years, so falling out would be put an end to the NHL's second longest streak. Guys, the Red Wings own that streak. Can you guess how many years that streak is currently at?
I forget. It's in the 20s.
I'm going to go with 23.
25.
Thanks, Dan.
You owe me dinner.
The Sharks
actually owe you one already.
Sharks have been a great regular season team. They've gotten to the playoffs and fizzled. They just haven't been able to make good on all the great things they've accomplished in the regular season. 5 first-place finishes, so 304, 4 second place, 1 third place, and they're 5-5 in playoff series since in the last 10 years. Now here's a centering pass. Loose puck was poked at there, and then Wingels knocked the man down right on the doorstep. It was Blake Como, and the Sharks go the other way. And Tierney had his pocket picked nicely by Malkin, and up ice is Como. He had just gotten himself up. He drops it off to Malkin. Malkin to Como, the shot, and Stalock makes the save.
Yeah, and Malkin had a stick knocked out of his hands. Boy, dangerous in the offensive end, and then he came back to help his defense. Did 71 Malkin. Good defense.
Now Barclay Goudreau shoots one on his block, and Sutter picks it up and flips it out to center. Last year, of course, the Sharks were up 3-0 on the eventual Stanley Cup champion Kings and blew the lead. And they seem to have never recovered from that. That's why they're having a tough year this year. And we know they have a lot of talent, but they haven't been very good at home. They have a better road record than home record, San Jose. 20 wins on the road, 17 at home. Now Scott drives the puck hit hard into the Penguin zone, and back to get it goes Paul Martin. Spalling left it there. Lovejoy tried to get it out. Sharks hold it in. Scott with it again. The shot blocked. Penguins trying to just get it out of the defensive zone. Bo Bennett couldn't do so. Almost taken by Matt Irwin, and his shot hit a man in front. Hustling over is Melker Karlsson. Karlsson got it to Joe Pavelski.
Bennett no stick, and there's going to be a penalty here to Pittsburgh, or hemmed in their zone.
Thornton just came off the bench. He's on the ice. A blocker save made on Fadoon by Fleury. Thornton got to the puck first. Fadoon to Barclay Goodrow. Now to Fadoon, a one-timer, and that's blocked. And the Penguins get possession. Paul Martin getting it to draw the whistle, and the Penguins will be shorthanded.
Looks like one of their penalty killers going to the box right now is Malkin trying to do his magic in the offensive zone.
Time and space in the first 20 minutes to build that 2-0 lead. Has it been more difficult here in the second period?
Well, you knew San Jose was going to make a push. They're a good hockey club. We just got to manage the puck better. You know, we had a couple opportunities, but they've started to put a push, and our wingers got to come back and stop. We're circling too much, and that's why they got that goal. So we got to regain. If we want to regain this game again, our wingers and our center are going to have to stop in our zone and help our defense. We only have 5 D, so we got to help our D tonight.
Thank you.
Okay,
guys.
There it is, details of the game from Dick Tocchet. Ricky Tocchet right there. Come back and stop. Don't circle in your zone. Stop in your position, get your head on a swivel. That's what should be swiveling.
That's a lot harder work, isn't it, Bob? Stopping and starting, stopping and starting.
Yep, and as he said, only 5 defense. You got to help insulate these defense.
Sharks on the power play. It's ranked 6th. It's dangerous, and they could pose problems. There's Pavelski out to Thornton, and he missed an open side of the net. Don't forget, Pavelski is 2nd in the league with 19 power play goals. Joe Thornton, one of the great playmakers that ever played the game.
Yeah, it wasn't in his wheelhouse. He would have loved to nail one time, and I love the play by Pavelski, who's got 19 power play goals, trying to feed Joe Thornton.
Now the puck out of play, and Pavelski with 38 overall. There's Joe Thornton.
And there's Pavelski right there. There's the shot wide up the pass as Fleury scrambling. He got to get rid of his stick to get over there. Look, his stick got in the way. Scuderi was right in the blue paint, and Fleury had to drop his stick. Couldn't carry it around Fleury, so he dropped the stick so he could move his body around there and try to make a save on Thornton, who missed the cage.
He's gone 6 games without a goal, and he missed the target there by a couple of feet. Now the puck on the far wall, and Wingels works it down into the corner.
Well, Spaulding taking away that pass to the point.
Melker Karlsson works it out to the point. Now down low for Wingels. Matt Irwin sneaking in the back door right now. Tierney, Karlsson, and Wingels up front with Fadoon and Irwin at the points. And now a little disagreement there between Wingels
and Cole.
And Ian Cole.
When the Penguins try to dictate, they want to use their high player in the penalty kill to force the puck down the wall into the corner, and then that's where you attack the player. And no Vlasic available to the San Jose Sharks in this game. Not a big power play guy. He's got a few points that way, but this is a one-shot game right now in Pittsburgh. 51 seconds left on the Shark power play. And as you mentioned, 6 in the National Hockey League.
LaPierre in the box, and now Lovejoy turns and fires it back up into the San Jose zone. Racing in after it is Daniel Winnick. Stalock clears it to the near wall, but the Penguins get over and get there first as Adams got it to Winnick. Now Winnick has to hustle back to make sure that it doesn't get into the hands of the Sharks. And he finds Scuderi, who finds Lovejoy, and ahead now for Adams, who steers it into the San Jose zone. Great penalty killing sequence there for Pittsburgh, killing a lot of time. Now here comes Pavelski into the Penguin zone. It wandered off his stick. Scuderi goes back to get it. Pavelski holding Scuderi off, but then Lovejoy just shuffled it along, and it's cleared now by Adams all the way down the ice, and Adams on a long penalty killing shift now goes to the bench. The Penguins will kill this penalty. Only 4 seconds remaining on the LaPierre penalty.
Yeah, killing without LaPierre, who's one of their penalty killers. Good support there to exit that puck. And look at it, Fleury. Stop that hard around very quickly.
I was going to ask you about Fleury's puck handling this year. It has not been an issue, not anything we've talked about at all for Marc-Andre Fleury. Here's Ben Smith down the wing. And I think that's a good thing. He's just getting the job done back there. Now up to the wall it comes, and it's going to be held in by Dillon. Over to Braun. Braun dumps it in deep, and the bounce comes right to the Penguin defense. And David Perron took the outlet pass from Cole and was able to get to center ice and force it up into the San Jose zone. Now the Sharks turn it right back out to neutral ice, and Cole has it again. Ian Cole skating well, dumps it in, turns and goes to the bench. 6:06 to go here in the second period. The Sharks have a goal here in the period. Make it 2-1. Scoring twice in the first period.
Because Winnick was killing the penalty, Perron is out there with Crosby and Hornquist on this shift, playing the left side. David Perron, who was ill yesterday and got into the lineup tonight.
Here comes Pouliot down the wing, shooting, and a save by Stalock and no rebound.
A good hockey game here. A lot of up and down in Pittsburgh. And one of those players doing it, the aggressive Derek Pouliot with his great skating and control.
Have won 4 series in the last 5, gone to the conference final once. The Sharks have gone to the conference final twice in the West during that span since the Penguins won the Cup. 2 teams that have had great success in the regular season and have always been on the radar in terms of favorites going into the postseason to maybe go to the finals. Now it's Evgeny Malkin behind the goal, and Malkin works hard now against Matt Nieto. Dishes it off to Kunitz, out to Pouliot. Pouliot's shot is blocked. That was a good block there by Wingels. Pouliot gets it back, and he fires, and it's kicked out by Stalock. Right to Hannon, who backhands it off the boards, and Wingels turns it back out to center. Lovejoy going back after it. Fleury just hands it off to Lovejoy, and he turns away from Chris Tierney. Dishes it back to Pouliot. Pouliot under a little siege here behind the net. The net dislodged.
There'll be a penalty here.
Pouliot got himself in a little trouble there as the puck came off the back of the cage.
Yeah, he did, and he stood up at the blue line. The Penguins F3 forward, that high forward in the offensive zone, wasn't quite there, Como. And the Sharks almost had the 2-on-1 situation. Now the Penguins are going to be penalized. Lovejoy, as they got into some trouble behind their own net. Pouliot lost control of that puck. And there's Lovejoy cross-checking Tierney, the young rookie. Good-looking one. Good hockey player, Steggy. First-round pick.
That whole sequence started when Fleury decided to keep the puck in motion, Bob, to Lovejoy as he was coming back. And Lovejoy was going really fast around the corner. And then he dished it back to the corner like in a reverse to Pouliot, who had just gotten there. And then he was under a lot of pressure there once he got the puck. So it may have been better for Fleury just to freeze the puck there rather than shuffle it along to Ben Lovejoy. And now the Penguins find themselves shorthanded, and this Lovejoy is in the box. So the Sharks with a second opportunity here on the power play to tie the game. Here's Pavelski with it. Burns cutting in now. Behind for Couture, and Logan Couture's pass to Thornton, and then Thornton just turned it and missed the guy at the point, and it goes all the way back where Stalock plays it ahead to Pavelski. Poked away from Marleau nicely by Paul Martin. Martin with that amazing stick work that he's so famous for, and makes it look so easy. Now they get behind Martin, and cutting in, they score. The Sharks get the goal from Couture as he was able to slip it between the pads of Marc-Andre Fleury, and they tie it on the power play.
That's the yin and the yang about standing up at the blue line. You can make the great plays with your stick, but then if you're caught flat-footed as Martin is here, give the Sharks credit. They regroup, they get speed, and they're able to chip it by. Look, it comes back to the neutral zone. They come back, they get a little bit of just enough speed here to beat Martin, who is flat-footed. Couture's got all that speed, Staggy, as he comes back behind the red line, and he beats Marc-Andre Fleury, dribbles through the paraphernalia, and Couture has tied the game at 2 on the Sharks' 18th shot on the power play.
He's a pretty good player, too. That's his 25th goal of the season.
Well, he's consistent every year. Every year he does that. He's going to give you 25 goals. Solid hockey player. And he's part of the youth movement really here in San Jose, where they took the captaincy away in the offseason. They're still bickering about that a little bit here in San Jose. But this team is 27.4 in average age to the Penguins' 29.4. Look at that turnover.
Steal the puck. Hornquist trying to come to the net. So is Perron, and they both go burrowing in there. But somehow the puck is frozen by goaltender Stalock. And the Sharks turned it over, and the Penguins had 2 players, Perron and Hornquist. Their eyeballs were popping out as they had an opportunity to get to the net. They just couldn't get there.
Well, interesting enough, they were behind the Sharks defense when the puck is turned over. And there's Hornquist and Perron. Those two really, along with Chris Kunitz, love to go to the front of the net, and they tried to shove everything in. You see Stalock came up with a blocker, the free hand, and said, I got it. And it's a battle right now in Pittsburgh.
Malkin against Couture, who won the draw, and Hurdle sent it around up the wall. Marlowe left it there, and Irwin banks it off the boards back into the Penguins zone where Lovejoy headmans the puck. Too hard for Malkin. And it's going to be an icing call against the Penguins as they'll bring it back into the Pittsburgh zone.
Well, you're starting to see the defense being taxed here a little bit. The fatigue is starting to set in on the Pittsburgh defense because they've had to kill a couple of penalties here in the second period of play. And they've used the defense in that kind of situation. The long change has made it more taxing for Gary Agnew's 5 defense in this game.
Marlowe and Burns get the assists on the Couture goal. Scored off the rush on the power play. Shots are even at 18. And now the loose puck in front is smothered by Fleury with Couture right there on the doorstep. So the Penguins had a 2-0 lead on the Blues. They came back and tied it. Now they let a 2-0 lead slip away to the Sharks. And this is what they've got ahead of them here, the Penguins. The Flyers in town Wednesday. The Penguins go to Columbus next Saturday, then to Philadelphia next Sunday afternoon, and then on to Ottawa to play the Senators, who could still be in the mix at that point, or their season could be over. You never know what they'll be faced with at that point.
Of all those games, only one against a playoff team right now, and that's that New York Islander game.
And that's been the case for most of the games for the last couple of weeks, but it hasn't made a whole lot of difference, has it? In fact, in some ways, it's made it more difficult because these teams that are out of it aren't playing with much pressure. You made a good point. The Senators looked really good when they didn't feel the pressure. As soon as they got into a position where they actually had a playoff spot, then they started to feel the pressure. Here's Derek Pouliot deep in his own zone, winding it up the wall from Malkin over to Cole.
Speaking about pressure, he was under pressure again, Pouliot, and he's out there with Cole staying in. They haven't played together, and that didn't look natural, those two in their own zone that last breakout.
Now Pouliot just dumps the puck in and gets off the ice. And the Penguins were able to change there, getting back a Scuderi to chop the puck back to neutral ice. Picked up now by Carlson. Downey there reaching in. So was Joe Thornton, and Thornton got it free, and now Scuderi cuts in front of Carlson to make sure he doesn't get to the puck. Scuderi over to play it, and he backhands it up the wall for Brandon Sutter, and out to center ice. And Sutter wanted that puck back. Downey got it. Downey tried to get it to Sutter, but couldn't do so. Back to get it is John Scott. He's pressured. Good solid forechecking effort there by Brandon Sutter. Now Scott behind the net, under pressure from Spaulding, able to dish it off. Brent Burns carries to center ice. Ahead for Ben Smith, who steers it into the Penguin zone. Lovejoy back on the backhand, sent it up the wall for Sutter, and ahead now to Spaulding. Spaulding looks to the right side, where Lovejoy steps up, dumps it into the Shark zone, and turns and goes to the bench. Penguins able to get a full change there as Justin Braun handles it now behind his own goal. Over to Brendan Dillon.
Oh boy, that hit Brian Englund. They hit him right in the head. He's between the benches there. That puck went up and hit Brian Englund, working for NBC Sports Network, right in the head. And he's looks like he's been cut.
Yep, and Chris Stewart, Johnny on the spot, able to get there and help him right away.
Yeah, they're going to have to take him. Chris Stewart was in there 1 second, and former defenseman Brian Englund is going to need some stitch work. It's dangerous there. You get no time to react as that puck, I believe, was deflected rather quickly.
Well, we were saying it's been a tough place to be down there the last couple of days.
I picked a good day not to be there, and I just hope Brian's okay here, guys. There's the stretch pass. There's the tip. Brian Englund tried to react. He just couldn't react that quickly. He's all the way to the back, doing his best he can to stay out of the way. He just couldn't react quick enough.
He's a good one. He's one of the best in the business, Brian Englund. He was a good defenseman who played for the Montreal Canadiens and the Washington Capitals. Down the left wing comes Daniel Winnick shooting, and Stalock scrambles to make the save on Daniel Winnick, and a face-off coming up to the right of the San Jose goal. Our spring training coverage wraps up from Citizens Bank Park. The Pirates take on the Phillies. It's the annual On Deck series. Don't miss any of it from Philadelphia, Friday, starting at 6:30. Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason on Root Sports. Minute 27 remaining, 19 shots apiece and 2 goals apiece in this hockey game in the second period. Martin shooting wide. Now taken by Marlowe. His lead pass into the reach of Hurdle, and it's going to be an icing call against San Jose, and another face-off coming up in the San Jose zone. The Sharks are 4-4 since they beat the Penguins back on March 9th.
Well, this date in history, Ron Francis recorded his 400th career goal. And this day, Sidney Crosby's looking for that milestone goal, Staggy. For number 300 here tonight.
Now Paul Martin throws it through the slot. And Dave Strader, by the way, is doing the play-by-play for the NBC Sports Network. So he's doing the game alone now. He's got no partner, Bob, as Brian Ingram has gone off for stitch work. Shot by Hornquist.
Did you want me to head down there? Did you want me to head down there?
Well, you could do double duty, right?
I guess. Whatever it takes. Well, Hornquist with a good opportunity coming in off the right side. He scores a lot of goals from the right side of the ice, but it's Stalock. Boy, Stalock's in perfect position, and that hits him right in the shark. Right in the fin.
Sharks control the draw. Tierney won it, but now Malkin steals it. There by Fedun. He's able to find Kunitz. Malkin gets it back from Kunitz. Fedun poked it off his stick momentarily, and now he does go down. He couldn't maintain control. Fedun playing tenaciously against Malkin there, and the Sharks dump the puck into the Penguin zone. 38 seconds remaining in this second period. Bo Bennett, it's a nice play to slip the check of Tommy Wingels and find Derek Pouliot ahead to Malkin, who steered it into the Sharks zone. Back to get it goes Fedun. Matt Irwin, who took a check from Bo Bennett after lifting the puck up the wing. Sharks come to center. Good gap there by Scuderi. Forces the Sharks to go offside.
Well, Kunitz is skating well. Malkin's still trying to find his lungs and his legs here right now, guys, after missing those several games. Look at the gap for the Penguins. They're standing up at their blue line. There's that stick like a cobra coming out, and that's it for a defenseman. That's what you want to do. You want to keep it inside, almost a false sense of security for the puck carrier, then you throw it out there at the last second. So good job there by the Penguins D.
Only 5 of them here tonight for the Penguins, and that you would think would wear on them. The tempo of this game has really been something. Here's Brent Burns with it now. He throws it ahead to Joe Pavelski. 2-on-2 as Pavelski fires one high over the head of Fleury as he knew time was expiring. And you can see why Pavelski has 38 goals. He can shoot a puck.
He can shoot a puck.
20 shots for the Penguins, 19 for the Sharks through 40 minutes. 2-2 the score. Let's go to Robin Jay.
Thanks very much, guys. 2 different periods, Jay. In the first period, the Sharks outshot the Penguins, but the Penguins outscored the Sharks.
Right.
This period, the Sharks, yeah, it was flip-flop, but the Sharks outscored the Penguins.
Yeah, they started to get a few. I felt the first period, and we talked about it off air. They're more perimeter. I mean, they had some chances, but not the great opportunities. I thought Pittsburgh had better in the first. This period, they both had good chances. Goaltending had to be good, but they got by. They got through. And it's a little breakdown in coverage for Pittsburgh. The points are too wide open for a little bit. They got to tighten that up.
All right, the Penguins and the Sharks are tied at 2 after 2 periods of play. Coming up, Dan Potash will catch up with Derek Pouliot. Jay's going to tell us straight, give you his analysis and thoughts in the third when we return after this. Penguins scored 2 times in the first. The Sharks scored 2 times in the second. In case you're just joining us, here's what you missed. Presented by your Western PA Honda dealers.
Now Hornquist going to the front of the net. Centering pass. He got to the goal. Rebound. Score! Hornquist somehow got his last stick on that. Man, is he a demon around the net. Here's Crosby with it. Center. Score! Directed in by Chris Kunitz on the doorstep. And Kunitz finally gets on the board, and that'll make him feel good. His shot is blocked down in front. Now to the right point. Braun shoots and he scores. Justin Braun, it may have been tipped in. It was a man in front, Ben Smith. Now they get behind Martin and cutting in, they score. The Sharks get the goal from Couture as he was able to slip it between the pads of Marc-Andre Fleury, and they tie it on the power play. So the Sharks showing some resilience, and now the Penguins have a little pressure on them to do the same, and it's going to be tough in the third period, Bob, because the Penguins are short of defensemen.
They are, and the Sharks were in the offensive zone a lot in the second. They had the long change. You look at some of the numbers, especially Ian Cole there, 17-10 after 2 periods. His average only 15-14. You see the other folks, and they just tried to distribute it around pretty nicely. They've done a good job that way, but I thought they were a little tired by the end of that second period, and why not?
Well, the Penguins don't have another game until Wednesday night when they play the Philadelphia Flyers here in Pittsburgh. So they got to leave it all on the ice here in the third period, see if they can find a way to beat the Sharks.
Well, they had coming off a great third period yesterday. See if they can play the same way. The Sharks, as you mentioned, they're not mathematically eliminated, so they're giving it all they can right now.
Brent Burns wheels it to the near wing, and offside is Carlson. Melkers Carlson. Brian Engblom has returned, as a hockey player always does.
There he is. Attaboy, Brian, toughing it out. Show the league how tough those color commentators are down there, Staggy. And there's what happened. Crosby with the redirection off the forehead of Brian Engblom, and I guess he's got 5 stitches on the outside and a few more inside, and a nice looks like a nice job, nice stitch work there. And I'm glad that Brian's okay.
It's a cosmetic business, this television business, and I'm sure he'll find ways to keep that covered up in the future, Bob. Because it's pretty prominent spot there, right in the middle of his forehead. That's like a badge of honor for hockey players.
Yeah, but not for broadcasters, Staggy. We're done with that. Can you send that plastic surgery bill to NBC?
Probably to the NHL, I guess, would have to pick up the tab. Now here's Scuderi at the point. Wrestling it in behind the net for Sidney Crosby. Crosby fending off the man there, and Couture as he dumps it back into the corner for Winnick. Hornquist is in his usual spot in front of the net. Crosby tried to step out. He tripped, I think, over the cage as he turned the corner. Now the Sharks trying to get out of their own zone, and Braun able to send it out to center. Again, you're right about those stretch passes. They're really stretching those forwards out to center ice. And now a chance for Pavelski, and he shot it, and Scuderi just got a stick in there, I think, to block it. And now taken by Scuderi, he moves it ahead for Winnick. Quick pass ahead for Como, doesn't connect, but the Sharks counter very quickly. It's Thornton with it. Pavelski went to the net, and Lovejoy was in the way there as the puck went off his skate. Thornton trying to set up Pavelski going to the goal. And here comes Malkin to center ice now for Pittsburgh. Ahead now for Como. He didn't take the pass. Como in on the forecheck, though, bumping Fadoon. And Fadoon has the puck now as he slips it along. Fadoon's not a very big guy, but he plays a physical game. Now here's Carlson shooting down low, and the save made. Carlson goes racing in there to get to the puck first. Malkin was able to get it up the wall now for Kunitz. And Kunitz under pressure from Ben Smith. Kunitz lost his stick, and Barclay Goudreau got in there, but then Kunitz got his stick back and was able to poke it back to center. Driven back into the Penguin zone by Scott Hannon, and taken by Ben Lovejoy in Pittsburgh. Out to center, off the skate of Hannon and right to Brent Burns. And there goes Burns again. Banks it off the wall to center. Following on is John Scott. Here he comes, Fleury behind the net, pushed it along for Cole. He backhanded it up the right wing wall to Bo Bennett. Bennett finds his man open on the left side. And the shot by Pouliot missed the net, but Bennett gets to the puck, throws it towards the front of the net, and it comes right to Ben Smith. Up and down they go here in the third period. Ben Smith dumps it into the Penguin zone and goes to the bench.
Yep. That's been a constant here for the Sharks, wanting the Pens defense to turn, have to play pucks and try to eliminate their offensive abilities. Pouliot's been one guy that's been able to jump off a couple of times.
Winnick swooping in. Banks it off the boards to Crosby. Right back to Winnick. Throws it to the net, and the save made. And Crosby kind of waited before he went to the net. And he just couldn't get there to pounce on that big rebound. Now Scuderi with it. Works it up ahead. Braun. Hornquist lost his helmet at the blue line. Now is that a glove? He lost his glove. And he goes to the bench. And Crosby with a puck. Now for Paul Martin, and Martin sets it up down from his own zone. Sharks back off of the neutral zone as Scuderi steers the puck in. Staylock around for Brendan Dillon. Sutter gets in there to try to take it away from him. Now Irwin uses the right side of the ice to get it out. It goes off the skate of Hertl. He gets the puck from Couture and shoots it. It was blocked by Cole, and now it goes behind the net, and Cole picks it up. Ian Cole, he's been really good at skating the puck out of his own zone tonight.
He drifted over to the right side after he skated out of the zone, Staggy. Used to play in the right defense, and then Lovejoy had to say, get over on the left.
Now Cole with good gap in the neutral zone as the puck is dumped in by Tomas Hertl. Taken now by Lovejoy. Under pressure, he's able to get it past Thornton to center. A hand pass, though, is called here.
When we talk about helping the defense out, 200-foot game, Sidney Crosby behind the Sharks net, loses an edge, and then all the way back in his end, Pavelski with a chance, and Sidney Crosby defensively gets a stick on a Pavelski shot. You know how he can shoot the puck. So Sidney Crosby trying to do it both ways.
And that's exactly what he's playing, a 200-foot game for the Penguins. There's no doubt about that. And has been for a while. Not that he always doesn't, but it just seems like he's put even more emphasis on it. Really, ever since he got back from the Olympics. There's a good shot, sneaky one there by Carlson, and the save made by Fleury. And handled now by Paul Martin. Out on left wing now to Kunitz. And a right wing pass for Malkin, and there was Carlson again, getting back to get a stick on it. And now the Sharks send it back up into the Penguin zone. No icing. Fleury will set it up for Derek Pouliot. There's Malkin coming to center ice, and Malkin tripped up by Scott as he came into the attacking zone. No penalty. And Derek Pouliot has it over to Paul Martin. Martin gains a red line, dumps it towards the goal. Stalock sets it up for Scott Hannon. And now to Burns. Left wing now to Matt Nieto. To Scuderi, who pokes it over to the near wall. The Sharks in on the forecheck with good energy here. The Penguins, though, able to work that puck out. Nice play by Cole to shuffle it out to Hornquist, who found Crosby. Crosby cutting in. Crosby shoots it, and Stalock makes the save. And there's a great rush by Sidney Crosby there. And Hornquist once again right in the middle of some mayhem after the whistle.
Hornquist and Crosby right in front. Crosby taking exception. Mixing it up right now. Fans loving it here. Tommy Wingles and Crosby getting into it. Well, you talk about Cole, his added minutes here in this game. He's well over his average defensively. He and Scuderi, look at this play. Stop, head up, exit right up the middle, and you got to give the Penguins forwards credits for being in position. That's what Rick Tocchet said. Stop in position, don't circle. And here's Sidney Crosby and Hornquist. The Hornquist just playing to the whistle, and that's what I remember as a kid. The coach is always telling me, play to the whistle, Bob, play to the whistle. And Hornquist does that better than anybody. It was a late whistle by the officials as Hornquist kept jabbing at the gloves of the goaltender. Wow, what a save off this face-off.
Another good chance there for Steve Downey as he came to the goal. Downey, dangerous.
Take a look at this. Downey goes in there, picks up the loose change, and through some bodies, Stalock takes that shot up high.
From the draw, the Penguins win it. Sutter won the draw. Downey again centered it and went right through the goal mouth area to the near side. Lovejoy moved up, but the Sharks bring it back as Marlowe got it to center. Now Hertl trying to get it up the right wing, and the Penguins turn it right back into the Sharks zone. Dillon to Braun. Up the left wing now to Patrick Marleau, who steers into the Penguin zone. Marleau shoots and right past the glove of Fleury and picked up down flight by Nick Spaulding. Spaulding in over the San Jose line, shoots it, and a save made by Stalock. Sutter tried to get to the rebound, but the Sharks will get there, and Couture moves it ahead to Hertl. He dumps it behind the Penguin defense. Fleury has to wait for it to come in the trapezoid. He sent it right back up the boards. Very quick decision there by Fleury to get it to Downey, and then dumped it rink wide. Crosby in on the forecheck right now as the Sharks want to get it out. Thornton just snaps it rink wide, and Paul Martin over to play the puck. Right to Fadoon. And now the lead pass. Pavelski shoots, and a save made by Fleury, and he holds on.
And there's Joe Thornton going right on top of the numbers of Marc-Andre Fleury. And over top of him, Pavelski with the shot from the wing. Lots of time left here in this one. 13:25. The goaltenders got to be tough. Steve Downey with the white tape on the blade, checking it out. After a couple of shots last shift, most goals by a player leading the NHL in penalty minutes. There's Downey. He does, and he's got 14. couple of ex-Penguins there. McSorley, Matthew Barnaby, Staggy.
It's a lot of penalty minutes for Barnaby and McSorley. Slap shot. Oh boy, Burns let that one go. It went wide of the net, and the Penguins end up with the puck, and out they come. Crosby moves it along now to Martin. Martin tries to get it inside the zone, and he does. And now Burns sends it up the wall and out to center, where it's handled by Paul Martin.
That Burns shot, that was a 100-mile-an-hour slap shot right there. I don't know if Fleury even reacted. There's a trip.
Burns got tripped by Crosby and nothing called. He went down in a heat.
Oh, he did?
Okay, yeah, the arm is up. I'm sorry, I looked back at the other referee. He did not have the arm up, so Pollock does make the call, and it is tripping against Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, you know, Crosby's going to go to the bench. In the penalty box, excuse me.
Pittsburgh, 2 minutes tripping.
And that's what Sid's been doing, and he's been getting, this is only, I believe, his second penalty in the last 20 hockey games. And for Sidney Crosby, look at this shot by Burns. That was a rocket. It came right back out off the back wall. And the Penguins, Crosby was there defensively to pick up that garbage, and he got his stick in the way, and Burns in the other end, and Penguins have to deal with his Burns shot again.
He can bring it, and Thornton will be in there on the faceoff against Lapierre. And Lapierre won the draw back to Lovejoy. He's able to get it up over the head of Burns. He couldn't hold it in there, and it goes all the way back. And that's where the Sharks will start it up now with a man advantage.
Lapierre was 6-0 in the faceoff circle coming into the period, wins another big one.
Remember, he was in the box earlier in a San Jose power play. Here's Burns busting in. The save made by Fleury with a right pass. The Sharks are 1 for 2 with the man advantage. It was a good save by Fleury there with a right pad, and now it is Lapierre pushing it out to center. Lapierre fighting his way ahead. Lost his stick. He goes racing over to the bench. He's replaced as the Sharks enter the Penguin zone on the power play. It's Scuderi with it. Lots of time. He's going to send Craig Adams ahead with the puck. And Adams shoots it, and Stalock the save, and Adams gets to his own rebound. Kills some time down there in the corner. Now Brent Burns gets it. Adams backs up as Tierney takes the lead pass. Chris Tierney into the Penguin zone. Left it there for Hertl. Rink wide pass to Taylor Fedun. He risks it along now for Carlson, who sends it down the boards, but Martin there to cut it off. Cut it ahead to Adams. Tough play by Adams trying to get it out. Spalling too, but the Sharks able to keep it in. Now Cole will try to clear. Up off the glass, he fired it. And it comes to the stick of Adams, and he's able to backhand it into the San Jose zone.
Hard off the glass by Cole for a player. Tough to block it. You don't want to take one in the mouth, and they exit the zone due to Penguins. Tierney was the third star in that last game against the Sharks up in San Jose behind the 2 netliners.
Now it's Lovejoy to the puck. Up the wall for Sutter, and he's able to clear. Down to 25 seconds to go on the Crosby penalty. Boy, Bob, you can't say enough about the Penguins penalty killing all year long.
All year long. They've had change with the coaching staff, change in personnel, and they keep getting it done here.
Now Lapierre and Winnick are doing the job up front with Scuderi and Lovejoy back, and Scuderi clears it again down the ice. And there's a rhythm to this Penguins penalty killing unit at times. And now only 1 second to go in the penalty. Crosby steps out as Como carries ahead. Crosby cuts across the ice and is going to be replaced by Evgeny Malkin. Malkin's line is on with Kunitz and Como. Malkin over to glove the puck down along the wall, trying to get it deep. And a battle over there. And the Sharks won that battle to get the puck back into the Penguin zone. Forecheck of the Sharks trying to pressure Ian Cole. He does a good job to get out of danger, but he hands it back to Braun at the point. His shot blocked by Paul Martin. It's Martin and Cole defensively. And a lot of pressure on these defensemen here in this game. Only 5 D-men for the Pens, logging a lot of extra ice time, none more than Cole. The shot by Smith and the save made by Fleury, and no rebound.
Well, it's tough. You're playing man on man down there, and Cole's chasing his man around. He's on the ice. He's off the ice. He's getting a ton of ice time right now.
On the latest Inside Penguins Hockey, the players share some of the biggest lies they've ever told. Mike Johnston reflects on one of his first coaching jobs and its effect on a former player and much more. Inside Penguins Hockey tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Some of the biggest lies. I remember when Central Scouting came when I played for the Petes, myself and Steve Eisenman, and I wanted to be 5'10". I don't think I've ever been 5'10", but Staggy, I put stuff underneath my socks, underneath the feet. It got me to 5'10". Put a little something in the shorts. It got me to 183. So I ended up being 5'10", 183, and then I got drafted by the Penguins.
And in the interview, Did you tell any more lies? Here goes Crosby into the Shark zone, shooting, and a glove save made by Stalock. Up the wall it comes to center and handled there by Derek Pouliot. Well, I know one thing. It was it 55 goals your last year at junior? That was no lie.
Yeah, 53.
53. It's pretty good.
55 would have been a lie.
Here's Pouliot now over to Spaulding. Over to Bennett. Bo Bennett shoots it off a stick. To the corner goes Downey. Downey, backhand try by Spaulding is stopped by Stalock. And the Sharks just clear it. And Scuderi will go back to get it. Well, the Penguins surviving that Sharks power play, and that should give them some level of momentum or confidence to maybe start generating some offense with Malkin coming onto the ice now. There's Gary Agnew, the man in charge of the penalty killing unit, Bob.
Yes, and the man probably in charge of getting Ian Cole to Pittsburgh in a trade, because he had him in St. Louis, knew all about Ian Cole.
Oh, that quick slap shot. It was blocked, and that hurt the man who blocked it, Matt Nieto. And now the Sharks have possession, and it's Matt Irwin coming to center. He dumps it into the Penguin zone. Fleury got out, stopped it, but he doesn't know where it is. It was caught up in his equipment. And he's able to freeze it now.
Where did that puck go?
Fortunately, it didn't go in the net. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, you've talked about Fleury playing pucks here tonight, Staggy, and behind the net he goes to try to stop another one. Follow the bouncing puck. It's going to go in his left leg here, between the leg and the pad. And he doesn't know where it is. Okay, it's somewhere around here. Where is it? Where is it? I think I feel something, and it's a good thing he stopped. And goaltenders, a lot of times when they don't know where the puck is, they'll go right into their net, into the crease area, and he could have easily backed into the cage there.
Of course, by then a whistle should blow, because there's no way the referee can see it. He would have lost sight of it. It's gone.
Right,
but,
and there's no video evidence of the puck showing the puck over the goal line, right?
True. Here's Lovejoy with it now. Sutter works it ahead, and Spaulding steers it into the Sharks zone. 8:37 to go. These two teams, remember, played to a 2-1 game in San Jose on March 9th. They went to a shootout. Another confrontation out there at center between Downey and Pavelski. Pavelski steps into the bench, and the Sharks come to center. Picked off the neutral zone nicely by Brandon Sutter. Downey steaming in there, finishes his check hard on Matt Irwin, and now Lovejoy pokes the puck out the neutral ice. A collision there between Hertl and Sutter, and now Spaulding crashing in as well. And it'll be handled now by Brendan Dillon. Dillon sends it out to center ice, where Couture dumps it into the Penguin zone. Fleury out of the net, waited for it to come in the trapezoid, and Scuderi gave it away there to Couture, who turns and shoots it through traffic wide of the goal. Dillon over, he fired it to the net, save, big rebound. Oh my, close call there, right on the doorstep. And Marleau was there.
He was, and he was being boxed out by Scuderi. He had inside position, and luckily for the Penguins, Scuderi with great defensive work, as this is offside at the far blue line. He's in great defensive position as the shot comes in off the pads of Marc-Andre Fleury, right to the stick of Marleau. And look at Scuderi, look at his position. He boxing out to the left side of the screen. Look at this, and he gets his skate in the way. Really good stuff there by the veteran Scuderi. And these guys are off the ice, on the ice, off the ice. Boy, we've seen a lot of Cole and Scuderi in this game tonight. And that's talk about managing your minutes. And Scuderi's not going to be rushing the puck up ice anytime soon.
Well, what do you think? These are character-building situations for the Penguins, aren't they?
Well, they really are. I thought the last game was yesterday when they came back in that game when they were down 1 and scored 3 in the third period. This one here, they know they only have 5. They're gutting it out. It's a gut check. It really is. And I think the Penguins. Oh, we got a penalty here?
Yes, Fleury's headed off. The Penguins are going to get an extra attacker on. Be careful around that empty net here. As Gino moves it ahead. And a lead pass taken by Crosby. He dishes it off for Lovejoy cutting in. Lovejoy turns to the forehand and shoots, and a save made by Stalock. Good play by Ben Lovejoy. And Stalock had to be ready.
Well, he's going to be ready now. He better be ready, because the Penguins are going on the power play. And Pouliot clipped up by Wingels. As the puck came around, and the stick came up right under the visor.
High sticking.
And there's Lovejoy turning it from backhand to forehand. Look Malkin for his second of the year.
How about how the Penguins made that play happen? Malkin with a 65-foot pass on the tape for Crosby, who then gives it to Lovejoy, flying in, and he goes in and almost scores.
We haven't seen a lot of Malkin and Crosby on the ice together. That was the odd man situation. Of course, they're on the ice right now for the power play. And what a great time for this power play to click again.
Yeah, it's 1-for-1 with one shot in the first power play unit chance they had. Now Hornquist dumps it in. Burns fires it 100 miles an hour again off the boards to get it all the way down the ice.
Nice to have a strong stick back there that can get that over the blue line very easily. Of course, the Penguins without Chris Letang, who's concussed by a Shane Doan hitting yesterday's game. They got Pouliot back there now.
Malkin trying to get around Burns, and there's Burns again with authority, shooting it back into the Penguin zone. Penguins haven't been able to get set up here on this power play yet. Now Pouliot under pressure from Couture. He just softly sends it ahead to Patrick Hornquist. Now to Crosby into the Shark zone. Leaves it there for Malkin. Malkin hangs on to the puck now. Crosby swirling around out to the right circle. Malkin to Pouliot to Crosby. The shot deflected away to the net. Blocked. And then sent right back to Crosby by Kunitz. To Pouliot to Malkin. Malkin to Crosby. Had to take it off his skate. Now to Kunitz, a shot in front. And the Sharks get there and clear.
It hit
Hornquist.
Hornquist. Yeah, it hit Hornquist. He did that little spin around and hit him right between the 7 and the 2.
Crosby nicely hanging onto the puck, sending it to the corner now to Kunitz. Kunitz to Malkin. And Malkin can't keep it in as Pavelski got right in his face. Now Paul Martin goes back and hands it off to Malkin. 31 seconds to go in the Wingles penalty.
Be careful here. Be careful because you're changing. You want to get fresh bodies on. The Sharks might be looking for that short-handed tally.
And they know the Penguins defense are under pressure here, so they're going to give them a little bit more to work with. There's Perron now to Bo Bennett cutting in. He shoots, and a good save by Stalock on Bo Bennett. Now it comes back out to Ian Cole, who dumps it down the wall, but it's going to be cleared again by Burns.
What a horse. Unbelievable. That's why they like him. And he's arguing with the referee right now. He got interfered with on the blue line. Lost his footing as Bo Bennett went in there with that opportunity.
Penalty's over, by the way. And now it's taken by Cole again. Moves it out to center. Como flying in there. Couldn't take the puck with him. And now Downey with it. Fakes a shot. Downey drops it back. Sutter with a shot off the side of the cage. Down into the back end of the save made by Stalock. Sutter pounces on the rebound. Turns. Sutter shoots it. And it's blocked in front. And the man who blocked it cleared it off the wall.
They had 5 bodies converge in about within 5 feet of each other in front of Stalock there. Tough.
Sutter shoots it long. Save. Como goes to the net looking for the rebound. It was an excellent hockey game. Both teams really playing hard. The goaltenders are having to make saves. Fun to watch. Here's Como with it on the right wing. Como dumps it to the corner. Brendan Dillon goes back to play it. Centering pass. Como steers it below the goal line. Crosby on the ice with Como and Smalling at the moment. Sidney Crosby with a high cycle to Scuderi, but didn't give him the puck. Lovejoy shoots it, settles it down to Como, his shot. Stalock's lost his goal stick, and he's given it to him, back to him by Barclay Goudreau.
Well, they called a penalty. I thought they stepped on the puck. It looked like from here they're going to cut a hole. It looked like the Sharks stepped on the puck and lost his footing. And the Penguins are going to have to kill a penalty with 3:52 left in this third period of play. Tierney, he's held. Steps on that puck and goes down.
Subway sandwich of the game.
Yeah, Hornquist getting to the net. Justin Braun getting there just in time. A top couple of defenders.
It's a pretty good tackle.
No, are you kidding me? That was a great tackle. And this is a free hand right there. And when you get that free hand, it's a penalty. Even if you step on the puck or not, Steggy.
If you do it around the net, it's not as bad. But if you do it in open ice, you get a penalty. Now off the draw,
right after
right to Scuderi.
right after a power play too. Penguins just had their chance to win the hockey game, and now the Sharks are going to get their chance. This is going to be a high stick. I don't know if it is. This is a tall hockey player right here who high stick this puck. It's got to be shoulder above the shoulders, and Burns knocked that puck down on the glass. He's saying, "Hey, listen, it was right there on my shoulder, guys. I'm 6'5".
Does that a lot. They do it a lot. A lot of times pucks are knocked out of the air with a stick, and they just immediately deem it a high stick. From the draw, LaPierre can't win that face-off against Thornton, and now Burns slips away from LaPierre and out the center. They come. It's Marleau to Couture. Back to Burns. Sliding down to the corner behind the net for Couture. Logan Couture left it for Burns. It goes right past him. Boy, this is going to require some serious effort by the Penguins to kill this penalty. Couture with it again. A lot of work for the Penguins. Here's a quick shot by Marleau, blocked by Winnick, and then picked up by Lapierre. Lapierre reaching down deep to try to get it down the ice. Couldn't do so. Now he pokes it free. And out of the net comes Stalock with Sutter bearing down on him. He's able to clear it out the center for Joe Pavelski. Pavelski couldn't get it ahead. It comes to Sutter. Adams is open on the left, but Sutter didn't see him. And he dumps the puck in deep instead.
Boy, that was a really good play by Stalock, Staggy. The Sharks had all changed. Sutter would have had a breakaway.
Now taken by Adams. I remember a game we did earlier this year where you criticized the goalie for not coming out like that, taking advantage, and I think the Penguins scored a goal on him. And I don't remember what game it was, but boy, it takes some serious anticipation and nerve to come out and play that puck the way Stalock did. Now Tierney dumps it back into the corner. Lapierre went in there to work. Then with Paul Martin and Ian Cole. Now Adams on his horse over to play the puck on his backhand, and he couldn't get it out. Sharks hold it in. There's a big chance to get it out there, and they didn't do so. Now Tierney with it. Tierney swinging around Cole. And Cole took it away and fires it down the ice. What a game he's had.
Oh, man, he picked his pocket. And we'll see if Winnick comes back on the ice for the Penguins. And he blocked the shot. He is back on the ice.
And Spaulding standing up, waiting to be set free. 6 seconds remaining on the penalty. Couture with it down the wing. Pushed by Sutter. Back to Marleau. Cross ice. Thornton tees it up. Trying to pass it across for Couture. Was broken up. Spaulding comes out of the box, but the pass went right by him. Stalock out of the goal. Wheels it back into the corner to Burns, who sends it out to center where Scuderi is able to find it. And Scuderi to Lovejoy. It's minute 37 remaining in regulation time. And Winnick dumps it in. Crosby gets in after it. And Crosby was able to work it to Winnick. To Lovejoy, a shot and a save by Stalock. Scuderi stepped up. It was poked by him, but Lovejoy watches the back door and gets over to play the puck over to Perron. David Perron into the Shark zone. Hornquist is driving to the net. The Penguins control the puck on the near wall. Crosby had to take it away. He gets it back. Look at this battle for the puck. Hornquist came over to help out. Now the Sharks able to clear to center. Pouliot over to Martin. He'll dump it into the Shark zone. Back to get it, Justin Braun. He's hit by Hornquist, who lost his stick. And then Marleau able to steer it back into the Penguin territory. 55 seconds to go in regulation. These two teams went to overtime in a shootout in early March. Now Stalock gloves it down. Boy, he likes to play that puck, and
he should have gave it to his defenseman beside the net. This could be a big mistake by Stalock. Sometimes you get it caught in that big glove. You can't get it out, Staggy. He tried to go out with the puck to give it to the man, and there's Winnick.
No shots on the power play for the Sharks.
Here's his shot block, Staggy, by Winnick down. He took it off that left open glove there. There's not really any padding. He's got ice. When he's on the bench, he's been going to the ice bag. Ice bag.
That's old-fashioned blocking there. That's the way they used to do it back in the day.
You're supposed to turn it back over, the hand the other way. Protect yourself with the backside of that glove.
Now it's Marleau trying to get it deep. Paul Martin jammed it partially out of play. It must have hit a Penguin player on the bench, and we get a whistle at neutral ice with 40.4 good to go.
And those players, look at the cuffs on that Winnick glove. I mean, look at it. He's got no protection there. Look at this. It's wide open. They're so short, the cuffs on these gloves now. Back in the old days, you'd have Mario would have it up another 6 inches because of all the slashes and hacks. And these players now, Winnick, Malkin, of course, he's got no cuff on the glove. You can see the opening there when you try to block a shot that way.
Sutter and Pavelski on the face-off. Sharks control. Burns to Hannon. Hard around. Martin goes over, looks over the shoulder. Wanted to go back this way. Instead went up that way, and then it ends up coming around on the right side as Sutter got it out to center. But the Sharks go right back into the Penguin zone. Couture with a shot. Fleury alertly absorbs that one with Pavelski driving to the net.
It's been a highly attention to detail. I think a well-coached game, a well-played game. And the officials, only 3 of them after a couple of minutes, as Kevin Pollock had to leave the game. So it looks like it might go past 60, Staggy. Face-offs, very important. Lapierre taking it against Thornton.
He won that last one, remember, on the penalty kill.
Yes.
That's what he does here. He wins it again.
Down to
right back to the corner.
Well, goes right down to one knee to win that draw, get that leverage.
Going back to get it is Taylor Fadoon. Here comes Hornquist, 100 miles an hour. He just threw it back out in front. And it goes out to center. Hornquist was skating as fast as he humanly possibly could to get to that puck.
Maniac, Lynn Crosby holding the man's stick.
Centering pass, quick shot. Oh! Just as time expired, Perron, and it doesn't happen for him.
Oh boy, he's feeling sick again.
You believe that? The horn went off just as he pulled the trigger.
Look at this. Crosby fending off the defender with one hand. Makes the play across, and Stalock just dives in desperation. And the puck flails wide of the cage. We are going to overtime.
Not sure it would have counted anyway. We'll be back with the extra session. Come overtime, and our McDonald's player of the game, Ian Cole. Why not? He has played some kind of game on the blue line for the Penguins under duress. The Penguins having only 5D. Look at that ice time. Wow.
Well, the Penguins had a chance as time was expiring. Crosby with a great play to Perron. May have just clipped the defenseman's stick. It looked like there was about 0.3 on that as it just flailed wide. It would have counted. And
yeah, what
a play by Crosby.
And the fans making some noise here as we begin overtime. Penguins have played a good hockey game here tonight, and so have the Sharks. It's been very entertaining. The Penguins had a 2-0 lead. The Sharks came back to tie it. Both goalies have made some good saves. Penguins have outshot the Sharks 33-27 through 3 periods. There's a trip, nothing called. And now the puck dumped towards the net. Fleury sweeps it aside for Paul Martin. And Martin in the 4-on-4 comes up to the blue line but couldn't get out. And remember, the Blues ended it quickly the other night. Here's Braun coming to the goal. They center it, and it comes right through to Paul Martin. The Blues ended the overtime the other night. 35 seconds into it. The Penguins would like to see if they can return the favor here to a Western Conference team in the Sharks. Last Western Conference opponent of the year for the Penguins.
Boy, Lovejoy just made one heck of a defensive play as the Sharks had a chance for a shot pass into an empty cage, and Lovejoy, strong stick defensively.
Now Kunin steers the puck into the Shark zone. Dillon goes back for it for San Jose. Now Joe Pavelski with Cole backing up. Pavelski gains the zone, drops it off. Thornton with a drive and a save made by Fleury. Thornton got over to the rebound to Pavelski. And Pavelski drops it off. Burns. Poke check nicely by Hornquist, and he's able to at least keep it on the wall. Now he got to stick it to the face of Burns. And that's going to be a penalty on Hornquist.
And Hornquist just, they were fighting for the puck, and Hornquist is checking Burns right now to make sure he's okay. Burns came down real hard with his stick, but Hornquist's stick did not break initially when they were battling for this puck. I thought Burns could possibly have been penalized. Take a look at the stick. Boom, right there. But the stick doesn't break of Hornquist. Now they battle with the stick. And Hornquist's stick rides up on Burns' stick. You can see it came right up as he's going. It rides right up Burns' stick and goes into his face. But boy, if Hornquist's stick had broken just prior to that, when Burns came down hard, it would have been a Penguin power play. Lovejoy, take Marleau's stick right here. Wow, that is strong play by Lovejoy. And remember against St. Louis, when Lovejoy was in overtime and Steen went to the net and Steen scored, Lovejoy took all the blame. Well, you can take all the credit there, Mr. Lovejoy. You saved the game. That was a beautiful play.
Great eyes by you, Bob. 2 excellent things that you saw there, away from the puck or around the puck. Either way, just great stuff. Thank you very much for that. Now we have the Sharks on a power play, though. They're 1 for 4, and enough that the Penguins had to kill 2 in the 3rd period. Now they got another one they got to kill here in overtime. And it won't be easy because it's a 4-on-3. Here's Thornton with it, shooting off the goalpost. Pavelski over to get the puck. Pavelski to Joe Thornton. Thornton to Pavelski, the drive, and the Penguins are throwing their body down as Winnick went down to block that shot. And the Penguins are in that foxhole mentality right now. Can they survive is the question. Here's Couture to Pavelski, and a good save by Fleury on Joe Pavelski, who has 38 goals. And the Penguins are able to get it out. Problem is, look at the penalty. It's a 4-minute penalty on Hornquist. So for the rest of the overtime, the Sharks have the man advantage. Here's Burns shooting off the shoulder of Fleury. And
it's going to be a shooting gallery. Let's face it, you got Burns. Thornton loves to pass more than shoot, although he hit the goalpost in this situation. And then you got Pavelski on the other side. This is very dangerous. Here's Thornton. He thought he had a seam. He did over the blocker. Look at the traffic in front. Our Super Bowl presented by Allegheny Health Network shows you that puck go off that goalpost. And Marleau watches it feebly go by. Time out for the Sharks here right now. They want to rest their guns. And for the Penguins, they had 2 forwards and 1 defenseman. Let's see what they do this time. I think they're going to come out here with 2 centermen for this next draw. Well, let's take a look at the 4 goals in the hockey game so far, guys. And for Pittsburgh, they got onto the board. Hornquist would not be denied. And then that beautiful passing play. Kunitz on the power play. But here come the Sharks. A redirect in front of Fleury. And then Marleau to Couture on a power play regroup in the neutral zone. And here we are with 3:06 left on the Hornquist double minor. What are the Penguins coming out with here, Staggy? 2 forwards and 1 D again.
Yep, that's Winnick is the one guy that Mike Johnson said could go back and play defense for the Penguins if he had to tonight, if the Penguins would have needed one of the forwards to play D. So he's kind of doing that in a way, if you think about it, because the Penguins would normally be using 2 defensemen on a forward here. 2 forward and a defenseman, 4-on-3. Pavelski on his knees trying to win the face-off, but it's taken away by Winnick, and then it wandered off his stick, so he couldn't get it out. And the Penguins forcing the issue here. We get a whistle.
And the referee made the call.
Yeah.
Yes. And he hasn't made any line calls this whole game. The other lines was deep in the zone, Staggy, and the referee up right at the blue line made the call.
And I thought LaPierre might get a breakaway here.
There he is right there. You see him pointing, and I guess he got it right. He was right in great position. He was right there, and he can assist. By the letter of the law, he can assist.
Couture down the wing, diving to the ice with Scuderi to prevent the centering pass, and then Couture sent it back towards the point. There's Stalock bouncing out of that goal again. They move it along to Burns, and Burns swooping into the Penguin zone. Dumps it off the boards to himself. And up the near side. 2:25 to go in the overtime. Penguins trying to survive this to get to the shootout. Here's Joe Thornton with it. Now to Couture, a shot. He was looking for a redirect from Pavelski, and it went to the corner. And now it's Thornton, not to the right side. Burns with it. The Penguins had a power play in San Jose in this situation. Centering pass, and they couldn't score. Hopefully the same thing will happen here to the Sharks. Now here's Brent Burns. Burns with plenty of time over to Couture. Save made, rebound. Pavelski couldn't score. And then Winnick just moves it to the boards. And he's really tired right now. Adams got it to the line but didn't get it out. And now another chance here for the Sharks, but Scuderi able to get to the puck. He'll clear it all the way down. A minute 41 to go in the overtime.
There's some unbelievable stuff going on here. Teamwork for the Penguins, trying to get the puck out with Winnick on his knees. Burns keeping the puck in with his hand, and the Sharks realizing they can't play it, or it would be the hand pass.
Hurdle to Fadoon, just called up today from the minors. To Hurdle. Now to Irwin. LaPierre wants to block the shot. Fadoon with it. Shoots it. Saved by Fleury. The rebound. Marleau is there. He's able to work it to the corner. Up the boards it comes. And it's Fadoon working it back to Irwin. A minute 8 to go in the overtime. Fadoon to Irwin. The slapper wide of the goal. Behind the net, Sutter trying to get there. Martin slaps it. And he's able to get it all the way down the ice.
Sharks are going to change. They're going to get their guns. Thornton and Pavelski back on the ice for one last chance here in the final minute.
And the Penguins have Martin and Winnick on the ice along with Adams. And Paul Martin with time pushes it ahead. Boy, there was a little bit of a lane there for him. He been able to carry that puck ahead.
He was thinking it.
And now we're down to 38 seconds in the overtime. And now Martin stops them from getting into the offensive zone. And offside is called on San Jose.
Yeah, that could have been a delayed offside. It should have been, actually. The Penguins would have been able to ride the clock out more here.
I kind of thought that was the case on the LaPierre one.
Take a look at this play. Winnick to Adams. Then Burns keeping it in with his glove. We can't touch it. We can let Burns touch it. He does. They wave it off. Great job there by everybody involved.
Well, a face-off win would be nice here for LaPierre against Joe Pavelski. And he does win the draw. Back to Scuderi, and he's able to dump it. And it's handled there by Burns. He didn't get all the way down, though. And now reaching around Winnick against Couture. Pavelski in on the puck. 23 seconds to go. And the Sharks are going to get one more setup here. Here's Burns with it straight away. Burns wants to shoot it. Peeling back. Winnick went down. Burns centers all the way out to Couture. Fakes the shot. Goes to the middle. Thornton checked by Winnick. Keeps the puck. Try to center. And he hit LaPierre with it. Thornton moves it along to Burns. His shot, he missed the goal. And it comes off the corner balls, and the Penguins survive. Unbelievable. And the fans absolutely loving it on their feet as the Penguins have turned in one of the most sensational penalty-killing efforts you will ever see. You talk about reaching down and finding what you got inside you as we head towards the playoffs. This is big, really big.
And look at Hornquist. Incredible stuff. What a penalty kill.
That was one different and very entertaining Barrel.com overtime.
They killed the Crosby penalty. They killed a Hornquist penalty. It was a hard-working penalty. And the last game between these two teams went to a shootout. I think it was 7 shooters each.
And as I was saying, Bob, remember, the Penguins had a power play in overtime in San Jose, and Derek Pouliot hit the goalpost. They couldn't score.
Yep.
So they went to the shootout, and the Sharks won. So now the Penguins have survived. Maybe the tables can be turned here in the shootout.
Yeah, they're the shootout goal leaders for Pittsburgh. No Chris Letang here. He won't be available. Crosby, Perron, Malkin, and Sutter all scoring goals this year. Crosby's got 4 of them.
Penguins elect to shoot first. David Perron will be the shooter in our Barrel.com shootout.
Crosby's well rested, and he's not retaping his stick. He didn't have to kill any penalties in overtime.
And the fans are all on their feet right now here at Consol Energy Center as David Perron carries in against Stalock. He comes out to challenge. Perron to the goal, to the backhand. He scores!
Well, he was sick yesterday. He was penciled in today, and he goes to the backhand, puts the Penguins up in this shootout.
Melker Karlsson, no relation to Erik Karlsson, and he will carry the puck. This guy's a dangerous player, good offensive player. Picks up speed, cuts in, to the backhand, and he's stopped by Fleury.
Well, he tried to speed it up at the end, and the puck just went off his stick. And Marc-Andre Fleury went out to time the speed of Karlsson.
Yep, saw that stick come across, thought he might have swept it away, and now Crosby with a chance. Sidney Crosby in on Stalock. Scores! This place is going to erupt if Marc-Andre Fleury can make a save here.
Talk about cool, calm, and collected for Sidney Crosby. You kidding me? That was too easy.
Logan Couture, good player, has a goal in this game. In on Fleury. Couture shoots and hit the goalpost, and the Penguins win.
Well, you know, Mike Johnson was coaching with a heavy heart, Staggy, and somebody's looking down over him and his hockey team here today. And the last shot by Couture goes off that bar to the glove side. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, well, it was a dramatic ending and a lot of heroes tonight, for sure.
And I got to tell you, remember this one, the last game of the month of March, the 15th game of the month, March 29th, 2015. This was a game that was a watershed moment, I think, for this team in this season. We'll see if that is the case. Let's go to Robin Jay.
All right, guys, thanks very much. And, the crowd was just waiting to explode, and they did. 3 minutes and 49 seconds of 4-on-3 is really difficult to kill in overtime, and they do a great job. And, of course, Marc-Andre Fleury standing up big, and just as we promised earlier, it's Miller time, presented by Miller Lite, and it's Sidney Crosby, who in the Barrel.com shootout is the one who puts it away. David Perron had scored first. Sidney Crosby scores here, and the Penguins win by the final score of 3-2. Well, stick around. Coming up next on Penguins Postgame, we'll have extended highlights from this game. We will also have postgame reaction, and the Pittsburgh Penguins have got a winning streak at home here with 2 consecutive victories now following yesterday's win and today's win. We'll tell you what all this means in the standings with highlights from around the league, Jays illustration, and more coming up next on Penguins Postgame.